So Salvi going on contact. That'll be a 2-out, 2-run single for Isaac Collins. And now it's Nick Lofton's turn. And he does. That snaps an 0 for 14. And it rolls deep. And it gets by the right fielder Cortez. So Michael Massey just keeps on running. Lofton goes to third, and the Royals lead 4-0. The middle, over the bag, and into center field. And Bobby Witt Jr. scores on Salvi's 4th RBI of the series. Jr. scores his 8th run in the series, and the Royals lead 5-0.
The way the quarterbacks will play this week, we'll go a quarter and a half with Justin, a quarter and a half with Garrett, and Chris will take the 4th quarter. It'll be somewhere in that area. Don't hold me to the play on that, but that's kind of going in. That's a rough itinerary, and then the rest of the guys will follow that schedule.
Friday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. The next 4 hours we've got you. Coming up an hour from now, we'll hang out with Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest. 41 is the Mike podcast. Mick Schaefer will join us coming up in the noon hour. We got cuts before the show is over. Lots of stuff to get into and talk about today. Got some football on the docket, some NFL last night. NFL coaches, it's preseason game number 2, so it's it's preseason for everybody, as they say when officials make mistakes or players make mistakes. But NFL head coach lack of understanding in clock management on full display last night. We may talk a little bit about that because it gets annoying when it's something so simple that NFL coaches ignore. And maybe they were ignoring it because it was preseason. It's kind of hard to say that your players, you want to see what they can do as they get ready for the regular season, and then don't hold yourself to the same standard if you need to be getting ready for the regular season in terms of clock management. So either they just simply did it on purpose because they didn't feel like they need to work on clock management, or they need to work on clock management. We'll get into some of those things because it's so annoying. But I hope the Raiders and Texans keep doing that moving forward in their lack of understanding in clock management. So we may talk about that. Again, Matt Derrick will be our guest. We'll get into, now that training camp is over, we went through the things we were wanting to see from training camp before it started. So I want to talk with Matt Derrick about a number of things that he was looking to see. We talked about it after week 1, but now that training camp is over, what are the takeaways, the interest level for us that we were paying closer attention to? It's so interesting that at the beginning, we all agreed to sort of set aside. Well, we didn't agree. We sort of agreed that number 1 was Mahomes. And so some of us listed number 1 as Mahomes. Michael went the different route and said, well, yeah, I'm putting Mahomes aside. That's the obvious number 1. Now let's talk about things that I'm wanting to see besides what's the health of Patrick Mahomes. And because we immediately sort of just set it or put it aside as number 1 or an obvious number 1, it almost gets lost in the discussion of training camp from watching Cyrus Allen. For me, number 2 was watching the coaches and then didn't know what would happen with Eric Bieniemy, but wanting to know what it would look like with Bieniemy, O'Shea, DeMarco Murray. So we'll talk about maybe what some of the takeaways were for that. Individual players, positional groups. We'll get into some of those things and what we actually learned individually maybe from what we've seen the last few weeks as they get ready for preseason game number 2. Next week, before preseason game number 3, we will put together what we feel like will be our final 53, because we won't be able to have a 53-man roster on the air after preseason game number 3, because that's on Friday, and then Sunday's cut down. So on Monday, we'll know the 53-man roster.
I like my change on Monday of getting mine right. I like them pretty good.
Do you now?
I promise I won't go and try and cheat. Just take me at my word.
No, we're going to do it before the third preseason game. And yes, some things can change, but it'll be our projection as to what we think will happen. So we'll do that next week. And we'll talk some Royals today at some point with a number of different things to discuss. But I do want to start with the meeting that took place yesterday. It started right as our show was ending. Todd Leabo was down there covering the event. covering the city council meeting, the vote, and then talking after it was over to Brooke Sherman and Jonathan Duncan and Mayor Q about what took place with the 11-2 vote, the city council moving forward with this agreement to build the new Royals Stadium at Crown Center, and the deal that was struck between the Royals and the Hall family and keeping Hallmark in town and Crown Center area, keeping the Royals in the area, in Kansas City, in the state, all of those things that many people felt to be of importance. So that took place yesterday. Jonathan Duncan was one of the no votes out of the 13, so we'll hear from him as to why he voted no. Let's just go ahead and play as we start. Let's play clip number 1 here, Michael. This is Brooke Sherman, and we discussed what the timeline was presented as on Tuesday, that breaking ground is what the expectation was for early next year for a March 2030 date to move in 1 year before the lease, or playing in the new stadium what would be the last year of the lease at Kauffman, gives them a year buffer. Brooke Sherman was asked in the media scrum after it was over about what is now the timeline.
You know, we're underway on that, so we'll get to the specifics of timing as we move through that with our contractors, our owners reps. So yeah, that could be the timeline. We would like to have opening day 2030. We're working hard to do that. This is, you know, these are big projects that take time, effort, and a lot of cooperation. So we're in the middle of that, feel very good about it, have great teams to help us here.
Brooks, based on your conversations with the state already, what's your confidence level and timeline for when you see contribution from the state?
We feel very good about the state. The state's been very cooperative. Obviously, Governor Kehoe did a lot to move the Stadium Act forward. He's a great supporter of this. We're going to work hard. Nothing's easy, but we're working hand in hand with them and feel awfully good about it. You know, we'll be much further along in the next 30 days with them, and we'll see.
Do you think you can? Does it feel more real today than it did yesterday?
Sure. I mean, anytime you get the city council, they had to vote on this. This is a big decision for them to make, and they've been working hard on it, along with the mayor and the city manager. Mario has been hand in hand with them, making sure that they understood this project. So it is a big day. Anytime the city council passes something like this is a great economic development project that the city's making a big investment in. We are hugely appreciative of that, and we're willing to make a great big investment right alongside them. And that's what we're doing, and we couldn't be more excited to do it.
So it now moves forward, and we'll see what the next steps are going to be. The excavation plan for the beginning of next year, but there are also some steps along the way, not necessarily that they're going to be roadblocks, maybe speed bumps, maybe hurdles to get through along the way, but it certainly feels like it is heading in this direction, despite the frustration of those that are dissenting, that want this to be put to a public vote. I get it. I understand that part of it. I do believe that there are, let me start with the first part before I get into what feels like the negative or taking a shot. I do believe, for the most part, all parties involved, whether it's the yes vote, the no vote, the protesters, those speaking in favor, I do believe there is an element of caring about what they feel is best for the city. I also think there are some that are grifters and trying to latch on to an opportunity to whether get their name out there or whatever it might be. So I think there's always going to be that element. But I do believe, for the most part, that John Sherman wants to keep the Royals in Kansas City and thinks that downtown baseball is better for the city. They'd also like to have their investment continue to pay off. I mean, it's a business, so they would like to have the best possible deal. I do believe that Mayor Quentin Lucas believes this is the best interest of the city to keep the Royals. Governor Kehoe for the state of Missouri. And I think Jonathan Duncan, in his dissenting vote of no vote, has the city and his constituents in mind when he's voting no. about what is best for the city. You can vote no to this specific plan while at the same time saying, no, I don't want the Royals to ever leave the city. I think there are elements here that could increase the value of what it means in the city, as opposed to what it feels like it is once the no vote took place a couple of years ago, the Royals had so much leverage that it was the city and the state going, what do you need us to do? It's a little bit like The Wire. The Royals got the no vote and went to the city and the state and said, price of the bricks going up. Right now, the deal may not be as good for you guys as it was for the 3/8 cent tax just being extended, and then the Royals investing the $1 billion for the ballpark district. Now, the difference being in this would be the $1.9 billion stadium as opposed to the $1 billion stadium that was going in the Crossroads. Now it's almost double that to 1.9, but with it being doubled, the Royals are putting in, $760. And then they are saying the substantial investment that they are making in the surrounding ballpark district. That does nothing for me.
Yeah,
I don't because that's an investment that they're making. They're buying real estate, they're putting up hotels and entertainment districts so they can make revenue off of it. You don't get to give me a house and then me go around and pat myself on the back because I got a renovated kitchen. No, I got a great house, but I also renovated the kitchen. So I'm renovating the kitchen. I'm doing those things. Yeah, okay, cool. That's helping you. That's helping your resale value. That's helping you maybe make a little bit more money. So whatever they're spending on the ballpark district, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a hoot nor a holler.
Yeah. It'll help the city.
It'll help, but that's not. There's stuff down there already.
Mm-hmm.
That for me, I've always been that doesn't move the needle a ton.
Yeah, it doesn't move the needle for me for the Royals to go, hey, this is not private funding or public funding for the ballpark district. It's not, but it is also somebody that is spending money to make money because they believe the ROI is worth it in the investment. That can also help the baseball team and help the valuation of the team, help down the road if you were to sell the team.
Sure.
So all of those things can be balanced in this. Let's hear from Jonathan Duncan because he did have the one of the two no votes. Let's hear what he had to say after the meeting as to what this clip number 2, as to what the reasons were in the no vote for Jonathan Duncan.
Well, the fact that we voted on an agreement with only $55 million in community benefits, we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar deal. 5% of non-baseball revenue is nothing. So again, the city is putting up 60% of the costs of the stadium, and we are receiving $55 million over 40 years in return. I wouldn't sign that if it was just me. Why are we expecting the residents of Kansas City to be on board of such a deal? I think the city requires better investment. I think we need investment in our general revenue now because we have needs. Our residents have needs right now. We have homeless problems right now. We have public security issues right now. Those require investment, and we're not seeing that investment reflected in that deal today.
You obviously were some folks down here who didn't want to see the deal go. What are you hearing from just your district?
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. My district, I talk to my residents often. They said, Councilman Duncan, if we can keep the Royals, that would be great, but don't give away the farm. Make sure that this is a good deal for residents and keeps our city whole. Make sure that this process is transparent. This process hasn't been transparent. It's been rushed since day one. We still don't have a financial agreement. We still don't have a financial analysis from the third-party financial analysis, and we still don't have the details of things that are currently being inked right now. We don't know what the final agreement between our school district and the Royals will be. We just gave away our leverage to ask for more.
So the issue there is what I do think there's some the thoughts about it being genuine from those that feel like it's rushed, it's not transparent. Okay, I understand those things with this particular agreement. I don't doubt it.
It'll also always be rushed if you never say yes and agree, because then there's no chance for them to have something to build off of.
Right. If they would have started this in 2022, as opposed to going for the 3/8 cent tax to extend that, and then bringing what felt like what I think early on that has hurt the Royals is, one, they didn't expect it to be this tough and this much pushback to get a new stadium. I don't think they expected that at all. Maybe some, but not to this degree. The issue at that time was if they had focused with a deal somewhat like this 4 years ago, it wouldn't be as rushed. It wouldn't feel like maybe there's lack of transparency. They went with a certain route to go and extend the 3/8 cent tax because, quite frankly, that felt like the easiest path to the finish line. Just 3/8 cent tax, there we go, extend that, boom, now we can move forward. That didn't work. Well, now you're looking at the 2031 deadline. You need to be somewhere in March of 2031, unless you want to extend the lease out at Kauffman Stadium. So it does start to feel rushed, like, hey, to get in there in 3 or 4 years, you're going to have to break ground. When this thing was a no vote, we're saying you're going to have to break ground somewhere around 26 or 27. And you got to start planning this. Missouri's dealing with a whole lot of stuff there with their government. And Kansas is trying to attract the Royals and the Chiefs. The county is dealing with then somebody who's in that seat that eventually was voted out in Frank White that was dealing with a lot of other things besides this deal.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of stuff going on, and we're going, is this thing going to get done to where 2 or 3 years where you're talking about they can move into a stadium that's viable, that's good for the city, that's downtown, that is in the city, that's in the area, that's not you're going and seeking out deals from other cities, saying, hey, Nashville, San Antonio, why don't you guys get involved here? Just so we can see what kind of sweetheart deal we can get from outside of the Kansas City area, so then we can force the hand of those around. So it was always going to be sort of rushed to a degree because so many other things, like the state had to get their bleep in order. The county, the city, they all had to get their bleep in order, while the Royals are saying, yeah, you guys can do that, but we got things to do too. And this is the price of doing business. I've talked about it. I'll continue to talk about it. I call it a pro tax. I'm willing to pay the pro tax. If they moved over to my backyard, it would be a little inconvenient in terms of parking and stuff like that. Although if they wanted to buy me out of my house for twice the asking, that's fine too. They can do that. But I would then, if it's paying the tax, to pay the tax. It's a pro tax. I'll pay it. That's fine. I'm more willing to do that. Some people,
agreed.
Some people aren't, and I totally get that. Everybody has different priorities. What we run into is, when Jonathan Duncan is saying, well, I've got my constituents that are saying, well, we've got homelessness, we've got this going on, we've got other issues, we've got the school district, we've got housing issues. That's all true. I don't disagree with any of that. The question is, what are you and the other politicians doing to fix that? Because this money is created by the project even existing. If the project didn't exist, they're not selling $600 million worth of bonds so that they can then go and give that to the school system, give that to homelessness, which would be, in a utopian world, would be great. But that utopian world, those things wouldn't exist anyway. People are buying and investing in the bonds so they can get money back. They're not doing it out of charity.
Correct.
And that's the issue you run into, is those that were talking about the 3/8 cent tax. We've got other priorities here. Well, you can be of two minds. You can have the priority with A and priority with B and priority with C. They can all be big aspects of what's going on. You can have multiple irons in the fire. Other people can have different views of what the real priority would be. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Some priority is homelessness. Another person's priority would be, but it's affordable housing. They can come together and say, yes, this is the same thing. Yeah, but I think we need to worry about this before we get to this. Well, ours is the public school system, and that's priority number 1. Well, we think affordable housing is priority number 1. We all have the interest in some sort of connection to the city in improving it, but we have different priorities in what number 1 or number 2 or number 3 would be. But you can have different irons in the fire while also saying you care about these other things as well. And so when we hear about, and it's brought up, and I think there is a disingenuous nature to this, when we have these other issues and we're spending this money here to give to billionaires. This money here is created by the project itself. That money isn't just sitting around.
It's not a Scrooge McDuckian
Yes.
pool with
Right.
coins there.
Yes, and the thought of, like, you know, whether it's Stand Up KC or Workers or whatever the shirts were yesterday, and it's like, okay, well, the money is not going into the bank account of John Sherman. You know, the cost of building the stadium, that isn't just going into a bank account and sitting there. You have to pay for materials and pay for the construction.
And workers and jobs.
Workers, yes. That's where the money is going, to build the stadium.
The people who are working a lot of times like this because you know why?
They get to work.
They get to work. This is job. This is money.
Yeah, it's growth, it's development. It's those that are actually, it's 3 years worth of building a stadium. 3 or 4 years worth of a job that's there that you know, hey, I'm on this particular project, and I'm going to have a job for a while because this is a pretty big project.
Yep.
Over the next 3 or 4 years, they're spending $2 billion on this thing. So this is pretty vital for whoever's going to be building it. That's where the money is going. And to infrastructure, which then goes to different parts of roads and different companies and different workers. So it isn't just handing over a paycheck. So those things I immediately and outright object to in the framing of that, because it's trying to reach people that don't understand or just want to say, I hate the billionaire should be paying for it, we shouldn't do anything like this. And while agreed, that would be a perfect scenario. But then you would also then have to have that same energy to any other company that's coming to your city or the county or the state that is being offered tax benefits to bring their business here. Well, they've got enough money to take care of it. We don't need to do anything for Google or Amazon or any distribution center and give them any breaks. Why would we do that? They got tons of money. Well, yeah, because they can go to a different city and do that. And it does create jobs if they're putting it there. So there is an element of a benefit. Now, to Jonathan Duncan's point, the community benefits agreement. This is where I think when the Royals had leverage in this. In 2024, the community benefits agreement, the Royals agreed to pay $140 million in the CBA, the community benefits agreement. This is $55 million. That's where I would be pissed, and I would say, okay, so why is it a little more than a third that you're putting back into the community? The community is giving you $1.2 billion. The community was going to give you $1 billion. You were going to put in $140 in a CBA over the course of the 30-year lease. Now the community is giving you $1.2 billion, and you're putting in $55 million in the community benefits agreement. Yes, that's a real issue that I would like Brooke Sherman, others to weigh in as to why it was 140 before and it's 55 now. Because quite frankly, I can just flat out ask them, do you not care about the community as much anymore? Is it easier to get the deal done without you having to pay as much because you have more leverage? Then don't give me this half-assed, we care about the community. Oh, we want to work lockstep with them. Okay, then where's the other 90 million? Where's that going? Is that staying in your pocket? Is that extra 90 million going to the ballpark district that you feel like, well, yeah, that'll help the community, but it ain't going to help the public school system. It ain't going to help the housing affordability. It ain't going to help the homelessness to the $90 million that you were talking about before. Those are the things they were working for. Cost of living wages. These were all parts of the $140 million community benefits agreement that was there in 2024. That's no longer there anymore. Now, maybe they're saying, well, yeah, that was countywide. This is citywide because this is the city as opposed to the county. Okay, then explain that and present those details that are missing from that part. There are elements that I absolutely agree with part of the dissenting vote. I outright disagree and dismiss the framing of it for some. But if you have a question, which I do, about, it's also interesting that you have this part of it, the community benefits agreement. Like, how many other people do we give like tax breaks to that then are required to then give millions of dollars back to the community in some way, shape, or form? At least this is happening, so it's not zero. It's also interesting that it's sort of a requirement. Okay, you're getting this public funding, but you must do this for the community. I'm all for it. I love it. It's great. And if you're going to do that, then what's the best deal possible for you to get something in return for the money that you are presenting? And the 5% of non-baseball related revenue, he said it's nothing. It's not nothing, but it does feel like peanuts. I mean, if the Royals make $5 million in revenue, they're going to give the city $250,000. It feels like peanuts. $250,000 isn't nothing, but it's also maybe not, $500,000 at 10%, or $1 million at 20%. It's 5%. Maybe you could have held out for more with that. I don't know. Let's hear from Mayor Q. He weighs in on, you know what, actually, let's take a time out here. Let's take a time out here, and we'll hear from Mayor Q on the other side of the break. He was asked about whether this went as expected, some of the things that people are offering. He was asked about Jonathan Duncan's dissenting vote and what he thinks of that. And I've got some thoughts on what we heard here, and something else that Mayor Q said that I find to be of interest if it is actually going to be the 100% total truth, because it would be a big speed bump / roadblock / there's a gap in the road, like in speed, that wouldn't be as easy just to speed the bus up and ramp uphill 150 feet. It wouldn't be as easy to do that like Keanu Reeves was able to do. And as you would say, Julia Roberts. Sterling.
Oh, yeah, because they're the same person. Jennifer Garner. Julia Roberts.
Jennifer Garner. Everybody. It's the same.
Sandra Bullock.
Julia Roberts, Jennifer Garner. Same person.
Sandra Bullock, yeah.
To Sterling. But we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. And what Mayor Q had to say, responding to Jonathan Duncan, and an element of something that he said yesterday that I do wonder what the result will be of what he said, and if it truly is at face value. What are you saying? That it could be a gap in the road to stop the project altogether. We'll get into that next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll hear from Matt Derrick coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll talk some Chiefs football. Camp is officially over. Chiefs on their way to Tampa and facing off against the Buccaneers tomorrow night at 6:30, KSHB 41. Let's hear from Mayor Q. I talked about, what Mayor Q was discussing when it was brought up about Jonathan Duncan, and then something that Mayor Q also said about what Jonathan Duncan talked about, the third-party financial analysis economic study. But here's Mayor Q. He was asked, this little Q&A started with, did these things today and Tuesday go, quote, as expected?
It did. I mean, look, this has been a whole lot of work for a whole lot of years. I do think that this is a huge moment today. You have really the sign-off that was necessary. I think the rest are going to be fairly administrative steps, important ones, making sure that you clear up the financing, both in Kansas City and the state of Missouri. The TIF commission is going to be an important part, but I think what we see today is that we are pretty certain that baseball is coming downtown. It's coming to the Crown Center area, and that the Royals will be here for another 30 years.
That TIF district is the next thing that kind of has to get done.
Yep.
I mean, do you guys have an idea of how far north, south, east, west this is going to go?
Look, I think that what I have seen so far is largely the footprint of Crown Center, basically up to 670, right? So what you kind of know as the Crossroads area, basically to the edge of what would be Midtown, at least has been discussed. There will be more contours in it, but as you may or may not know, that's a fairly compact area in Kansas City. We're not talking about the whole city. We're not talking about some larger district. I think it is a responsible, defined area where we're looking to have real impacts. And frankly, even as much as tomorrow, when you see publication of a lot of the TIF documents, we will be seeing all these details bit by bit with more public hearings. We're proud both of what we've been able to build up, what I think is a creative plan, the collaboration of the state of Missouri and the city of Kansas City. And I'm proud of my colleagues today for continuing on the economic development for our community.
Mayor, how do you respond to Councilman Duncan's complaints that the city could get a better deal out of this?
I think that this is actually a fairly strong deal. And what I know is by looking at other deals recently, particularly in this part of America, compares to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Kansas City Chiefs project, others that have been announced recently. What we are not doing is having a broad-based tax district. I think you saw very strong concessions made by the Kansas City Royals. On Tuesday, I pointed out one of them, which is the insurance costs and maintenance being the duty of the Royals long term. That will be tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars over the life of the agreement that is going to the Royals rather than the city. This is a better deal than Jackson County had 2 years ago, 20 years ago, before that point. It's a better deal than anybody in our region is getting. Now, look, I would love to be a market like Los Angeles or New York where people build their own stadiums. I think, however, in this type of market, we continue to see public-private partnership is a way that we do it. I think this is a responsible one. And with the headquarters retention of Hallmark, this is the very type of economic development we do every day in Kansas City. Even though it's a big project and teams that we know a lot about, I think this is something the people of Kansas City ultimately will be quite proud of.
So there's a number of things there from Mayor Q. There was an element of living in reality with that, of saying, look, I'd love to be in Los Angeles where billionaires build their own stadium. That's not this city.
Yeah. Some reality.
It also wouldn't be reality and smart business for Sioux Falls to say, here's $1 billion to a stadium to come in and have the Royals. Nothing against Sioux Falls or Fargo or wherever. It wouldn't make sense financially, because do they even have the residents to support it and go and then have it make money in return so that's not a losing proposition? It wouldn't make sense for them, okay? Just as this city, living in reality, you won't have billionaires saying, I'm going to go there and spend all the money and build our own stadium, because it is such a coveted place to be. We love Kansas City, but billionaires outside the area are not looking to Kansas City to say, we're going to build whatever, spend whatever it takes to build our stadium and our pro team there, and we want no help from the public. Every other city we're talking about, there is public financing. So there's the element of living in reality of, again, being a pro town. The TIF part of it, I get it on the Kansas side that it is much more vast and sprawling when you have the practice facilities and then where the stadium's going to go.
Sure.
And what felt like a pretty aggressive surrounding TIF district that the finances will then go to pay back the bonds, or the star bonds on the Kansas side. And Mayor Q talked about the TIF district and sort of taking a shot at that. As he said, it's a very compact area. But, up to 670 from Crown Center, is that part of the tax increment financing district of building a stadium down at Crown Center? It's 4 miles north. It's a very compact area. 4 miles north in that compact area is pretty damn sprawling if you're talking about downtown and how compact everything is. You're talking about from Crown Center to, a 9-iron from T-Mobile south. That's going to be all part of the TIF district up north of the Kauffman Center. Like, that's a pretty wide area. And I would guess that if this was the opposite, if Mayor Q was building in a different spot and the Chiefs a year ago had a plan and the TIF district was from Crown Center all the way to 670 North, and it was like, no, this is all part of the stadium, he may throw some jabs at what feels like a pretty aggressive TIF district where some of the revenue that would be going to Crossroads businesses that are now going to be given to the stadium to pay back the bonds, or given back to the city to pay back the bonds. Some of that, I would say, yeah, it might be absolutely generated from the stadium. Some of the restaurants down there, for instance, you want to go to the Peanut and have some dinner before walking over to the stadium. Okay, that would be directly connected to the stadium being built down there. It's where you get into the difficulty of figuring out what is and isn't and how much goes there. So that's one part of it. But he brought up in a different area, Sterling, and this is where I think you get into the what's best for the city, what's the best way to spend money, what is worth it to spend money. My family has a different set of values in what is worth it to spend money. Some would look at our finances, my wife and I, our family's finances, and say, maybe you could have put more over here, over there, instead of paying for that, bigger SUV and the gas money. My response would be, maybe to you, but we take lots of trips in road tripping with kids that we pack a lot more stuff. And we want to, one, feel safer, and two, have more room so we're not cramped in there. Okay, we do a lot of driving since we moved here. It's worth it for our family. It's worth it for the Chiefs to pay Kenneth Walker. It's not necessarily worth it for others. There are plenty of Chiefs fans that say maybe he shouldn't have paid a running back. Maybe he should have got a wide receiver, whatever. It's worth it. There are different priorities and sensibilities in what helps you and your family. I bring all of that up as the prerequisite to Mayor Quinton Lucas saying, if for some reason, because Jonathan Duncan said the third-party financial review, that's going to be independent, third-party financial analysis, the economic studies, they need to see that. But Mayor Q saying, if for some reason the third-party financial review says it doesn't work, these things don't go forward. That is that is a pretty strong statement, because how many third-party financial analysis economic studies have said, actually, this publicly funded stadium is good for the city. You're going to get your value back, because it's like we've talked about the antiques before, right? Yeah. You go and sell antiques and you go, no, well, hold on. You're only giving me $1,000. This has been in my family since 1850. There's sentimental value. And that person goes, I don't give a bleep about your sentimental value. This is the objective value of this, no matter whose family it was in. If I was selling it to you, this would be the price. We are not paying a premium because you are emotionally attached to it. That's where the third-party independent financial analysis, those economic studies, they don't take that into account. There is a sentimental value. There was an emotional attachment. There was a connection with the city and the fabric and the sports side of it. So many people in the area. If you talk about what are your best memories with your family in the area. Now, we are certainly biased because we talk sports for a living. Sure. It is a huge fabric of our upbringing. Huge part of the culture of my family and my wife's family, just in a different city, but very sports centric. Now my son and daughter, my extended family, some of our best memories. If you say, what's your best memory to me of your brother and nephew? And he's, game 2 of the World Series in 2014.
Mine would be wild card game.
Wild card game, you and your dad.
Yeah.
Immediately. Me, my dad, 1993, Steelers, Chiefs, Arrowhead, January 94, but the 93 season, the comeback, the block pump by Keith Cash, the 4th down touchdown from Montana to Tim Barnett, the overtime field goal. Then they go to Houston, and Keith Cash throws the football at Buddy Ryan. They win in Houston. Then they go to Buffalo. But it started with that wild card win in January of 94. I was there. Amazing. Sprayed with beer when Barnett caught the touchdown on 4th down to tie the game against the Steelers. Jumping up and down, hugging. Michael Massey's triple in 24 that got past Soto, that I don't even remember Massey rounding first and getting to third, because my son and I are jumping up and down, and I fell backwards, and my top teeth hit the top of my son's head because he was jumping up while I was going to hug him. Obviously, it's around the sports. It's around that. There is no third-party independent financial analysis economic study that will ever add that value. Mayor Q said, we don't have skyscrapers. We don't have the things that people would look at. But what we do have got us the World Cup. What we do have put us on the world stage. Not because we've got the really cool art structure downtown above I-35 and 670. Neat pillars, stuff, artsy, cool. Kauffman Center, nice, awesome. It's really cool for the arts part of the city. It's needed. But it's not what got the World Cup here.
Correct.
It's not what got being put on the world stage doing that. And there will be third-party independent financial analysis studies and economic studies that will tell you, yeah, but you didn't see the community benefit. You didn't see the ROI with the World Cup. You didn't see all that with the World Cup. Okay, so you're going to count 10 years down the road if somebody from Algeria comes, if somebody from different cities come, if somebody from Argentina goes, I want to go to the city where Messi had his hat trick in the World Cup, before Kansas City Stadium is torn down for the new Arrowhead. I want to come here. We're going to visit. We're traveling to the United States. We're going to go out of our way to go to Kansas City because Messi was there and did that. Is that a part of it? I don't know, because I've never done one of these. But that's a strong statement to say if this comes back and says this doesn't work, these things don't go forward. Okay. That's a tough one to walk back.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Because there is no, this is what the city kind of is known for and has. There are two things that people think of when Kansas City, if you ask somebody outside of the area. What do you think of Kansas City? Go.
Barbecue, then either Royals, Chiefs.
Barbecue, Chiefs.
Barbecue and sports. Barbecue, Chiefs, Royals. In 2015, it might have been barbecue and Royals. Last few years, barbecue and Chiefs.
Ted Lasso.
Music. Barbecue and Kelsey's, or Taylor Swift's husband is in Kansas City. Maybe not the barbecue, just the Taylor Swift's husband. That's what we're known for. Crab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does. Okay? Barbecue and sports. That's what we do.
Really good sports talk radio.
Amazing. Yeah. Mainly 10 to 2 on 810.
Some say.
Others would say 6 to 6 on 810. Others would say 6, 4 hours after that, skip a few hours, and then maybe at 2. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If they feel that, they're probably not listening to this right now anyway. So in your face, punk. So we'll see what happens moving forward. What the financial analysis says, we'll find out. I do think there should be some real questions as to why the CBA in 2024 was $140 million and now it's $55. I think Jonathan Duncan has absolutely every right to offer that. And if there are any other roadblocks along the way, but right now we're talking about 6 months from now, 7 months from now, them breaking ground at Crown Center. I mean, it's a massive development if you get there, because personally, I believe it's a big deal for the city and where the city can be in 10 years. And then you throw in the new Arrowhead with Super Bowl possibility, I believe we'll have some Final Fours back in Kansas City. I think the NCAA will recognize that still to this day, on August 21st, 2026, Kansas City has still hosted the most Final Fours in NCAA history. There will be a sentimental return to that when they finally award Kansas City a Final Four at the new Arrowhead Stadium. I think those things are good for the city. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. All right, wrap it up the hour. We'll talk with Matt Derrick coming up on the other side of the break. And unbeknownst to him, Matt has no idea this is the case because we've kind of just pushed this through, and there's been a lack of transparency. And we voted on it in the previous hour. We've actually voted to give Matt $150 million from 810s. Now we're going to issue the bonds. If nobody pays and buys the bonds for $150 million, then we don't give them anything. But we are willing to issue bonds in the amount of totaling $150 million that will then go directly to Matt, because we feel like just giving millionaires like Matt millions of money.
Word is bond.
Yep.
That was great. He texted me this morning.
What did he text you? What was the text? What'd he say?
He literally said, "In the Stew studio" with my name. It was pretty good.
There you go.
Siri helped out with that because I did it while I was driving, and I wasn't sure how I was going to spell stew.
I've I've had it called both STEW, which is what you went with.
That's what Siri went with.
Or
Her
STU.
choice.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't sure how it was going to go.
It could be either one.
I like STU.
I respond to both.
I would have done STU in that situation because obviously I was going for Stew Studio. So
Stew Studio.
What's funny is though when you say it out
funny?
loud, it doesn't matter because
What is
it's
funny to you?
pronounced the same way.
this is true. And two
Funny
out
like a
of
clown?
the 3 people in this room are wearing clothing that has the word juice on it.
Man, I need to get me a juice hat.
You need some sort of juice.
You're
on
all
there.
juice. I'm
you know
bringing
what?
the juice.
I don't need a juice hat. I need an all juice team shirt. I need to go
You just
go
need
buy
some
one.
juice. Period. Maybe
need to go buy
you're
one.
bringing the juice, and that's why you're not wearing.
Yeah, I'm like like
Although you
Tupac.
actually, literally, your hat says you're bringing the
You've
juice.
got the juice now. No, I don't.
We got the juice. We got the juice. I miss
Favorite juice,
The movie.
and it's pineapple. Clearly, pineapple juice is the best juice.
Oh, that's just false. No.
Favorite juice, Omar Epps.
Technically, I mean, here's the crazy thing. Orange
What's the
juice is
crazy thing?
technically the answer to that. The tricky answer to that is lemonade.
It's not juice.
Lemonade is
I mean,
juice.
it is juice.
It is technically juice.
Yeah.
No, it's lemonade.
We call it lemonade, but it's actually, I mean, it's the same concept as
Okay,
the
well,
other juices.
okay, then why is milk not juice? That's
that's
juice
not
of a
coming-
cow.
That's
Because it's not coming from a fruit.
No, actually, that would be juice. That would be a bull, dude.
You are
I mean,
juice.
that
All
would
right,
be-
let's
well, not coming from a bull.
That's what
No.
he's saying. The juice from a cow. No, you're thinking about the juice from a bull, brother. All right, I think you got the thing wrong, man.
Yeah, cow juice is not the same thing. as
No,
orange
it's
juice.
not.
No.
Pineapple
Bull juice is different too, because this is all bull bleep right now. Okay.
We're talking about fruit juices, and you're talking about animal juice.
Yeah, you should not
Why-
be talking about either of them. Stew.
But I
Stupid.
thought maybe because there have been many times that you've been out on the golf course this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
See, so I thought maybe
Yeah.
Matt Derrick. Hello.
Jason Anderson.
So are you fine with not heading up to St. Joe anymore? were you cool not waking up earlier this morning
I
to get
love
to St. Joe?
Love the fine people of St. Joe.
Yeah, well, that's not the point.
Everything's
Yes.
great. I
The
mean,
Belts is a fantastic place to go and cruise.
running. I mean, I was at the Belt several times during this trip
There you
because
go.
you go out and you see people and you do things and all that kind of
That's
thing.
right. Did you go to Cool Crest while you were there?
You know what? That is a good looking Cool Crest.
I know, dude.
I mean, I have definitely wanted to play around there.
I did not know there was a Cool Crest up there. So when I heard the story about the specialists going to Cool Crest, I thought, God, that is a heck of a trip to go play some mini golf. Wow. And also, dang, that's awesome. They're playing at my old stomping ground.
It's just a great insight into the life of NFL players that 88 of the guys that are on this team are at the facility pretty much 24/7, even if they're not working out, they're sleeping and everything. But then there's 3 guys on the team. Middle of the afternoon, let's go play some mini golf.
That's a good one. I mean, what are they really doing? I mean, come on, what do they got to do? And good on Harrison Butker. Like, you know what? I was just back in the days, I was just kicking. But I thought, you know what? Why do all that work? Now I can do less work and then present it as strategy for the season. That's brilliant, dude. That is so smart because I don't kick all the time in a game in order to prepare for a game. What I should do is probably take 30 minutes off, then go make a kick, and then take 30 minutes off, and then go make a kick. It's brilliant work by Butker. Work smarter, not harder.
5 kicks a day.
Work
You
smarter,
get
not
5
harder.
kicks a day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, he did look good in his kicks. So,
And in James Winchester's defense, for apparently being terrible at mini golf. I mean, if when they went to go do some other things, I mean, when they went to go clay shooting, Winchester would clean their clocks.
yeah, but here's the problem though. Winchester was putting and looking straight down. Why wasn't he putting between his legs?
That's what
then
he
he
should have been
wins.
doing. Yeah,
If he does
exactly.
that, yeah, it's all part of technique. Which technique do
Maybe
you have?
he is putting between his legs, and that's the problem.
Yeah, maybe that's all. Is that all he does? Like he cooks between his legs? Like he hands out like the drinks to his kids, and they're like, "Hey, Dad, we want this," and he goes and grabs it from the fridge and he hands it between, or he tosses it between his legs.
That's the way he makes orange juice. It's a problem too.
That would be an issue. I'm a big general apple juice. General Apple Juice.
General
Apple Juice?
It's an odd last name for somebody. General Apple Juice. I'm just a fan of just the regular old apple juice.
Yeah, but pineapple juice really slaps.
I mean, I don't know that I've ever sat down at a table and was like, you know what, I've got this breakfast here. Can I get pineapple juice?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it's terrible. I just have never thought to
try.
This is what I'm gonna go to.
No, try it, especially if you put some rum in there. Oh man, now you're having yourself a
that's
day.
Different. Do you put pineapple juice on a pizza? That's the big question everybody has wondered for years. Pineapple juice on a pizza.
Yeah, okay, but hear me out. You put white rum in a pineapple juice, and next thing you know, you're having yourself a morning.
What if you put red rum in pineapple juice? Because some people would want to do that to you if you ordered just straight up pineapple juice.
I'm now realizing that Sterling does not drink fruit juices. He has mixed drinks.
Well, yeah.
Those are called cocktails.
Those are called cocktails.
Vodka goes in orange juice.
He wakes up at the hotel with the free continental breakfast or whatever. There's juice. Do you guys have the bourbon?
I only see mixers.
shooters?
I only see mixers. Is there any actual? Where's the rest? I only see the mixer.
Yeah,
he's a mimosa man.
You probably are a
Have
mimosa.
you ever tried a
Bloody
Coke
Mary
mixer
or
by
mimosa?
itself?
No, because I don't stay at hotels that nice.
A Coke, so like just a Coke.
A Coke.
What are you
was
saying? A
yeah.
Coke mixer by itself.
Yeah.
Coke. Can I get a rum and Coke minus the rum, please? Just 86 the rum. That'd
I'm
be
just
great.
saying, try the rum and pineapple. It is the glorious drink to start your day while golfing.
So are you? This is a good point. Are you a mimosa or are you a Bloody Mary in the morning type fella?
So one Bloody Mary, because then you get too much tomato juice.
Well, you can't do three of them in the mirror with the lights on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
then, yeah, it's a situation, and
then you'll be screaming for your mimosa.
Yeah. One
Okay.
Bloody Mary's good,
Okay.
but then it gets too tomatoey, too thick. You kind of got to drink it semi-quick because if you're on a golf course,
Yeah.
right,
Are you really nursing?
it gets warm,
yeah,
and you're like,
that's-
ugh. That tomato juice just turns into
Yeah.
like a paste,
Yeah, milk was a bad choice.
but it has to be spicy.
Okay. But if you're out for like brunch, that's your go-to, or is it mimosa?
One of them.
Or is it the pineapple and red rum?
You do one Bloody Mary, and then you
Okay.
transition to the bottomless mimosas, and then you
And
call an
do
Uber
Candyman.
home.
Bottomless. There you go.
Bottomless mimosa.
Well, why would I want? I don't want to find the bottom,
No.
huh? It's a scary place down there.
Yep. The Chiefs are leaving training camp. Let's go ahead and get back into this. Hey, by the way, did you get any cool stuff from any players handing things out to like the PS5 or something? Did you get like a Super Nintendo or like a Sega
I wish.
or
I
like
mean,
an Atari? That'd be
mean,
badass. Somebody
man,
showed up with an Atari.
Did I get anything? I mean, gosh, I think Mike Caliendo may have shaken my hand one day and
About
put some
that?
sweat on me and everything.
You got
so.
some Caliendo sweat.
I mean, that's probably
go.
yeah, if one of the guys sweats on you, it's about probably the extent of what I get. So
Well, at least he put his hands on you. My idea was there was a joke about missing blocks.
Well, I know,
My joke. My idea was all of the players at the end of training camp. So for like the military appreciation, so you have this big day, it's fun. But the players leaving camp, anything they don't want to take back with them, they just leave outside. And then those that are there at military appreciation can go and sort of rummage through.
it's an
and
idea.
See,
That's
like,
an idea.
That's
so it
actually a
doesn't
good
get
one, yeah.
so it doesn't get thrown away.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what if I wanted this broken controller that this player threw against the wall because he just got beaten Madden?
I meant
You know?
more or less like maybe gloves or like.
Well, that too. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I'm thinking like the gloves probably aren't just laying around.
Jason's like, yeah. Do you want Creed Humphreys half-drink Coors Light?
What if it was pineapple juice?
I'm
Yeah,
drinking.
I think that's an
insult.
insult that you think he's ever left behind a half drunk Coors Light.
That was what I said yesterday. I'm like, this one's got a hole in the side.
Come on, we're talking about some
right.
men here who don't leave.
Why is
behind
there
their-
a key side hole
Fine.
in
Do
the
you
side
want
of this?
Jimmy Holiday's bath towel?
Yes.
Or like,
Is it a nice towel? I'll wash it.
it might
It's all
be.
good.
I don't know. It could be a nice towel.
I mean, here's. I mean, I literally think actually, to the truth that when these guys pack up and everything that they leave behind and all that kind of stuff, I really think the only thing left that they don't take back with them is Xavier Worthy's PS5. So. Because otherwise, I mean, if it's Jimmy Holiday's towel, I mean, the athletic the equipment managing staff, they're all over that.
That's a
I
good
mean,
point.
That thing is clean probably before it hits the floor.
Yeah, the athletic
they're
training
good.
staff isn't going through a room and seeing like gloves laying around and going,
No, they got
the kid that's going to Mo West that's going to be staying here, he can have them. But I don't think like gloves laying around; those are going to be in the equipment room.
Yeah.
I just mean like other things that you would furnish your room. What if a guy had like a 32-inch TV? Like if somebody's like, I don't need this thing. I'm not going to take it back home. I got got millions and millions of dollars. I only brought it here because I'm staying in this tiny room. So now without this tiny room, I don't need this at home. I've already got TVs in my bed. Here, I'm going to leave this. Hey, kid, you want this 32-inch TV? Cool. I just hope the PS5 was given to a kid that didn't already have one.
Who do you think didn't it?
So it's not like, yes, now he got one in both bedrooms.
I can sell this on eBay.
Do you guys think the guys put up posters like we did in college? Do you guys ever have, like, for me, when I was in college, a big one was Kate Upton.
Mm-hmm.
My mom still gives me a hard time. She came and visited me when I moved out of the fraternity into the off-campus house, and that was my blinds. Was just a Kate Upton poster. Smart.
Sure.
Who do they use now?
Now, like Pete Niagara's got like Livy Dunn in his room or
is
something.
that what it is? She might be. She might be.
I don't know.
Is she too old now? Is that past the generation of college kids?
You know,
No.
This is. I think I can share this. It's on the record, so it's one of those little funny stories and everything. So, but and I'm in Andy Reid's office the other day, and
Kate Upton poster.
I mean, and I was actually just taking note, because in case I ever need it for a story, I'm like, I want to be able to set the tone for the reader and the audience about what is Andy Reid's office like, and a couple of sofas in there, some chairs. There's like a little coffee table. He's got the TV on, which of course has game footage on.
How big was the TV?
It was. Gosh, you know what? I want to say it was probably
substantial.
Not huge, in the 42, 48 range.
He doesn't need that. He can give it away to somebody that was there. Military appreciation. That's a dead giveaway.
36, but I think it was a little.
Even more.
42.
He doesn't need that. He's got to
ballpark.
squint to see the thing. He's not taking that to his office back in KC. Come on now.
It was like 12 bottles of water on the little mini fridge.
And beer, soda, and candy bars.
Car keys on the desk. I mean, literally the only thing on the wall is a dry erase board. And you can't tell what the dry erase board is on it, because above the dry erase board is like a 1950s, projection screen
that you can pull down.
Yes. And it is pulled down so that, anyone, in this case, a bunch of, sketchy beat writers.
That's right.
Can't see what's on the board behind it. So
what do you think? Do you think it was a poster back there?
No, I'm pretty sure it was the roster.
And depth chart and everything. Or it was a poster of Livy Dunn, yes.
Practice that day. Yeah. No, and Andy Reid's, if Andy Reid's got a poster of anybody, it's like Ray Nitchie or something.
Okay, so, yeah, that's right. So, like, now that he's got this projector screen pulled down in front of the whiteboard, now I'm imagining this clandestine meeting that only writers and scribes and those masters of the quill that were invited to, not us talking heads speak, gas bags over here. Now I'm imagining with this projector screen that Andy was answering questions in a presentation like Al Davis with Firing Lane Kiffin, with the projector screen and working and doing like the dry erase marker on the translucent sort of scripts that are there. That's what I'm imagining now what's going on in this room. Since we're all dating back to like 1950 or 1960, that's how Al Davis does it. I don't know if that's how Andy Reid does it. But in all seriousness, we've heard a couple of things come out from that meeting. How long were you guys in there? Is that reportable?
It was about half an hour.
Okay. Was there something of your main takeaway? Vahe wrote about Andy Reid saying we knew it needed to be done. Jesse Newell wrote about Kenneth Walker and Andy Reid essentially saying, yeah, we're going to use him. Yes.
Oh, yeah. That was...
The red zone is tough to score, and the field is smaller. You need players that can do some things, and we have that guy. Was that one of your main takeaways? Because in those 30 minutes, was a lot about Kenneth Walker? Was it about some things that... I don't know that we've heard Andy Reid like on record go, yeah, I have to change things this year. There are things that we have to do different that we couldn't do last year or didn't do last year. And I'm not an idiot that I went to the offseason and said, let's just do everything the exact same.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of my biggest takeaways from it was simply, he said it before publicly. I thought even yesterday, I thought he said it a little bit more pointedly.
Wednesday.
Thank you. The only reason I know it's Friday is because I'm here talking to you guys. This is the end of training camp. I have no idea what day it's been for the last 4 weeks.
Grundy this morning was trying to confuse everybody. He just kept saying tonight. Well, in tonight's game, I want to see this or that. Well, with Bashard Smith tonight, hey man, it's tomorrow.
I don't
Jake
have
eventually
any idea what day it is. So
I bowled last night. I don't know what day you normally bowl on, but I feel like it's not Thursdays.
No, thanks for letting us know.
Throwing rocks.
Matt, go ahead. But Wednesday, one of your biggest takeaways there?
It was Wednesday. Thank you very much.
You're good.
Yeah. It just felt like yesterday. Wednesday and Thursday all just jammed into one
Okay,
day.
we're done with the Wednesday. Back to Wednesday.
Yes,
I'm just waxing poetically on that.
know.
No, I mean, I thought he was very pointed and direct, and there was even like an edge to it when he just was saying, hey, last year you could see it. I mean, teams were not biting against the run whatsoever. They did not respect the run game. And as a result, I mean, he was talking about the first steps that defenders would make. And, I think, St. John, I heard Gurney and St. John talking about this morning, and, and the concept that, hey, you don't see until you know.
Right.
Don't move until you know, and as a defensive end and everything. And, that wasn't the case last year. I mean, teams were just going ahead and defending against the pass the last couple of seasons and didn't care about the run game because they knew that, I mean, it was irrelevant. That even if they were guarding against the pass and then had to respond to the run, they were like, we can still stop this thing because these guys can't go anywhere. So I mean, and again, I feel bad because it's not, I didn't say it or anything, but at the same time, I mean, even reporting these things, I feel bad because, I mean, I think like Pacheco and Hunt, I did think they did the best they could. And in Pacheco's case in particular, I mean, I just think that those injuries just took too much from him.
Right. It's not Pacheco's fault that he was in that position. It was the Chiefs' strategy off season of saying Pacheco's injury will be better.
Yeah.
And we are good with
they
this
made a miscalculation.
Right. That's not Pacheco's fault that they miscalculated.
And it hasn't, I don't think anybody's really said this out loud, but again, you look at it and you can certainly say that, I mean, the Chiefs have responded this way before. I mean, when in the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers, what did Brett Veach do? He went out and completely revamped that offensive line. Last year, the Chiefs are 100% convinced. Not that they don't have necessarily some other areas where they think that they can improve and there's things that they can do, but they clearly have sent the message to us, both verbally and non-verbally with their actions, that their number one problem across the board was that they could not run the football. They have completely revamped that running back room, and to the point where we keep talking about it. I mean, again, they got 4 guys, I think, in that running back room that would have been the number one running back on last year's team. Maybe 5 or 6 for all I know. Maybe they put Jaden Ott back there. They would have been better off than they were last year.
That's little Kareem Hunt.
Hate.
Disrespect. He was very good in his role.
He was the best short yardage back in the NFL last year.
Yeah, so I don't want to just...
Which is a question that I think we will have heading into the season of that is one role in the running back room that there's not an obvious candidate except for Justin Fields QB sneaks.
I mean, and there is going to be, there you go, there is also going to be the discussion and argument, honestly, about, I mean, and this is no knock against Kareem also, but how much of that was Kareem and how much of it was the offensive line?
Well,
because, I mean, let's face it, we talk about the tush push. I mean, they've been able to do it with any quarterback and any running back. They haven't been as good at it since they lost Jason Kelce. I mean,
yeah, it's true.
Jason Kelce was the heart and soul.
And since they've been focusing on the false starts and some of the lining up offside.
So you're saying Creed maybe is
could be the
entire interior line could be the key.
Kingsley Creed and
success last year.
I think a good portion was Kareem Hunt because he was good at finding those small little slivers and then getting through there where Pacheco just didn't have that vision of seeing how a hole may open up. So I do think it was probably more, if I'm looking at like breaking down the percentage, if Pacheco picked up the first down, I'd probably say it's more 70-30 offensive line. If Kareem Hunt did, I'd probably say it's more 65-35 Hunt.
And here's the reason. I'll give you another piece that it kind of bolsters my point that it's the offensive line. I'm trying to remember whether he was number 1 or number 2. I think he was number 1 in lowest stuff rate last year, Pacheco, in that he did not get stopped behind the line of scrimmage. He had the lowest stuff rate in the league.
I agree with you when it comes to the offensive line still being good. I'm not disagreeing with that point because I
those
think
specific 3rd and short, 4th and shorts, it didn't really go to Pacheco. It went to Kareem Hunt.
No, because Kareem was certainly better. I mean,
right.
If you needed a yard, maybe Pacheco gets the yard. But if you needed a yard and a half, you're going.
Pacheco probably gets you the yard.
Well, exactly. I mean, Kareem, if you needed a yard and a half, Kareem's going to get you a yard and
3/4
points, 1.6 yards.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Thank you very much.
No, but to your point, and that's why I was so disappointed, was because we saw the holes, we understood they were there. We, I think, all realized the offensive line was doing their job in run block situations. The issue was, again, Kareem wasn't fast enough. He had a specific role that he did very well. Pacheco wasn't good enough. They didn't trust Brashard Smith at all, and that's where it was. It was, damn, there are holes. We see it. We can witness it. We're watching it. And yet they're not taking advantage of it, again, namely Pacheco. And that's why I think this year we will see Kenneth Walker explode.
Yeah.
Because he can see the holes.
Yeah. Super dynamic is the run game that Kenneth Walker brings to the table. And Andy Reid talked about this was the part that I think matters. Well, a lot of it matters, but that stood out to me was the red zone talk from Andy Reid. Said, as you start creeping down the field gets smaller, red zones and all that. That's where a guy like that, the extra guy, becomes kind of handy for you. We haven't gone through a season, but it looks like it's a full package of a player, and he works at it. That's the part I appreciated, always asking questions, pretty impressive, blah, 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 coach speak, yada, yada, yada. The meat there is you get closer to the red zone, it's tough. The field shrinks, and then all of those deeper safeties that keep you from throwing deep are now closer to the line of scrimmage that keep you from throwing underneath. And if you can't run the ball, well, good luck. It's Liam Neeson, good luck. They didn't have a particular set of skills to score in the red zone. And he said that's where that guy comes in handy, becomes kind of handy for you with a guy like that because the field gets smaller. We can run the same kind of runs, and to his credit, he's a guy that can run multiple concepts, whether it's downhill, hard-nosed power football, get on the edge with stretch guys. He can do it all, and his balance, his strength, his ability to make guys miss, I think, are going to be special for us. Now, that was Andy Heck. Yeah. But you've also got Andy Reid combined with Andy Heck talking about that particular run game, and Andy Heck is in charge of the run. He's the run game coordinator. So that's going to be hand in hand with Andy, EB, and Andy Heck of the run game coordinator, which seems to be a lot around Kenneth Walker. I would wonder, Matt, between the 20s, do they try to sneak in Brashard Smith or Emmett Johnson? Because it's pretty obvious Kenneth Walker was pissed that when they got in the red zone, the Seahawks said, all right, come over to the sideline, bud.
Right.
We're going to put in Charbonnet now. You can come on over here. Come on over here. We're in the red zone. We're inside the 10. Not your job anymore. If the Chiefs are going to find ways to limit Kenneth Walker or to keep him healthy all year, I don't think that's going to be inside the 10-yard line.
No, I mean, if they're, I think that there's a lot of reasons why they like Kenneth Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, I think one of the many, is that he did share backfield. He was conserved a little bit as a resource. So they still view him as kind of fresh legs, that he's a guy that, that they can go out here. I mean, they've got him for 2 years, maybe 3. They can just, put a lot of workload on him and everything.
I hope 3, because if it's 3, that means the first 2 years are pretty damn good.
Yeah. So, I mean,
of course, they'll probably hold out and want a new contract, so it may only be 2.
It probably will only be 2 one way or the other.
Yeah,
they might
either he prices himself out or it's not exactly worth it and they move on anyway.
What would the number be for
it's to right in the middle to where both sides are like, okay, we're good, 3rd year.
I mean, that's just the thing that stinks about this game sometime and the business that it is today, because Kenneth Walker might go out there and put up 2 great years, and then it's going to be like, okay, pay me my money. Well, in the Chiefs line of things, they're going to be like, well, we got Emmett Johnson over here that we drafted, and we really like him too, and he's got 2 years of cheap rookie deal, so we're going to run him into the ground for 2 more years. And
that's right.
And good luck in Jacksonville. Just pick a team at random.
He hates Bashal Tootin over here.
Yeah.
Well, whoever else they draft along the way.
Well, I mean, they're probably going to run him into the ground. And he'll get 380 touches. And
him and Chris Rodriguez
have an ACL 2 years from now. So. Probably. But that's the thing. And, one thing, and again, I go back to a little bit of, listen to Grunny this morning, because I thought it really resonated with what I have just seen in training camp, is some of the things that obviously Kenneth Walker can do. I mean, even if you are just using Walker in the play action, how much he affects the defense. And you can even, just even the numbers alone, because again, last year, the Chiefs saw some of the lightest boxes in the leagues because teams were just like, we only need to put 6 guys in the box, maybe 5. We're going to drop a bunch of guys in zone, and good luck Mahomes finding anybody open, because we also know that most of your receivers are just going to go out and run their pattern, and then if they don't find anybody, they're just going to hug a defender and stay there until mom comes home. But this group. No, I mean, you use the play action. Already this defense is knowing that, hey, wait a minute, we got to have eyes on the backfield at all times. So That's going to affect the plans a little bit. They got to be prepared for Kenneth Walker. So now you're talking about, not being able to play as many zone defenses, I think, against this pass game. And then you throw in, the addition of Chad O'Shea, who is definitely beating into these guys. When your route is done, the play is not over. And a lot of these guys are learning it. Cyrus Allen already knows it. Xavier Worthy is learning it. I've even seen Rashee Rice working.
Ooh.
In he's done. I'll give him. He's done really good in the red zone when a play breaks up and Mahomes has had to break out of the pocket of working himself open. I mean, he's
contract year, touchdowns. He knows what he needs.
He's had several touchdowns that have been on these broken plays exactly like that, where he just keeps moving until he finds space. I'm like, this is Rashee Rice doing this. I've never seen Rashee Rice do this.
Maybe he's being
undefeated.
Maybe he's being coached a little bit differently too.
Being coached differently, contract year, healthy. You never know.
Well, health is a relative term. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back, and I want to talk about, you mentioned Rashee Rice there, and it goes back to our conversation we had before training camp started. We were all discussing what we wanted to see, what we were focusing on, and Matt will get your assessment of what you did see in training camp, what they were able to do with some of the things that you might have been looking for and focusing on as to now we're done with training camp, and what did we see while they were in St. Joe. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. they're now in Tampa Bay, and they'll be back in Kansas City next week, getting ready for the final preseason game next Friday.
Well, probably not even on the way to Tampa Bay yet.
Yeah, good point.
Probably this afternoon flying out.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe on their way to the facility or the stadium, not the stadium, or to the.
Got to get in after that 3:00 check-in. You don't want to pay
exactly
early for the early check-in.
That's they have to pay for early check-in. So they're heading to Tampa today/tonight, and then next Friday they'll return home and play the final preseason game, and then 9 days from now will be cut down day. We'll see what that 50. Correct? It's next Sunday.
Next Sunday. Yep.
It's cut down day. So we'll be on the air a week from Monday and know what that initial 53-man roster looks like and how many players are on that 53-man roster that are not on the roster right now. We'll find out how many of those are, because they do have the 9th waiver priority, and Mike Radway talked about it. Like, you can't just throw like 10 waiver claims out there, because you're going to get one of them. Where you're sitting at 30, 31, 32, you send 10 out there, you may not get any, or you may get one out of those 10. You just put 10 in, you're getting one of them no matter what. You might get 5. So you got to be a little more conservative and more fine-tuned and more of sniper than shotgun in who you're going after on the waiver wire. But training camp is over. We talked last week, I think it was, about your number one thing to look for after Mahomes and the injury was Rashee Rice. So we discussed that.
Didn't play.
Yeah. But not like what you wanted to see, but in training camp.
Yes.
So like going into training camp after Mahomes, because we all said Mahomes number one. We agree Mahomes number one, injury, health, all of that stuff, which flying colors. If you want to say what everybody was looking for that was above and beyond.
No one is even talking or really worrying about it now.
That's right, yes. No. I was listening in the afternoon. I was driving home, and Seren was talking about it, and I'm like, dude, it's so right, because he was talking about it, and at no point, so it eventually got to like 16 minutes. They were talking about things from training camp, right? And he was like, and somebody, it may have been Curtis or something, said something about Mahomes, but talking about it in something else. And Seren's like, oh my God. He's like, we're sitting here talking about it. He's like, it's 16 minutes in, and we've just now mentioned Mahomes' health, which was the biggest question. And I'm sitting there going, I was right along in the conversation with you, and not once did I go, hey, Mahomes' health, this was a big deal, right? Because it's just been from day one showing up looking like that. Okay, let's move it aside. Now what are we focusing on? The other things that, quote-unquote, may actually matter, because Mahomes is a freaking alien. You wanted to see Rashee Rice in training camp. We haven't seen him in a game. He's progressing. He looks better and more fluid than he did the first couple of days. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about was my number one after Mahomes was I wanted to see what the new coaches looked like. Unforeseen what was going to happen with Eric Bieniemy.
Right.
It was awful. He had to leave camp. We know now he was screaming and cursing at his computer. He was calling Clark Hunt or Brett Veach, give the phone to Andy so I can say this or that. He's been back at camp and he's yelling at guys. He's back at camp and he's kicking Kenneth Walker out of the drill because Kenneth Walker laughed when Eric Bieniemy was yelling at him, and EB looked at him and said, oh, that's funny, huh? Get out. Give me somebody else in here. Right? It's back to being Eric Bieniemy. Chad O'Shea, energy. We hear Rashee Rice saying details, details, details. I've got to finish on the play. What I've worked on is making sure that if I'm not the target, that I still have to do this and that. I feel like, and DeMarco Murray too. I feel like the one thing I was looking for, the main thing I was looking for after Mahomes, I think I got a decent amount of information as to what it's like, what it's going to be like in just these few weeks. You're up there, you're watching it. What was your assessment of the new coaches, that offensive triumvirate of EB, Murray, and O'Shea?
I mean, it seems like everybody's making their own difference in a different way. And I don't think, obviously EB's presence is the easiest one to observe and to watch because you can hear him, you can see him. I mean, it seems like he's almost omnipresent on that offense. I mean, he's just consistently everywhere. And there's obviously a handful of guys that were here when he was here the last time around. But the new guys taken to him, I think, has gone exactly how you expected it. I mean, players on this offense love EB. I mean, the guys who are just new to him and everything like that, they're like, this guy's awesome.
What about the old guys?
I mean, I think. Well, go
There's
back.
not many of them. It'd be Patrick, Travis,
and go back to what
Creed and
Travis
Craig.
said. I mean, Travis essentially just said. I mean, and he had to, use the, no offense to the guys who were here, but yeah, I mean, EB holds you accountable in ways that other people don't. And again, every football coach holds you accountable. Let's say
To a degree.
To a degree. I mean,
but also if they're but they can hold you accountable. But are you willing to accept the message?
Exactly. And
do you respect the messenger enough to accept the message?
There are going to be players who take to Matt Nagy's way of coaching better than EB's and vice versa. And hey, as for as much adversarial relationships as we've seen between like Travis and EB, it's also pretty clear that Travis takes to EB's coaching.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to be intrigued to see how that plays out because I'll be honest. I mean, just as a side note here, asterisk, I don't think this has been Travis's best camp. I mean, I think he's had better camps.
In what way?
And
I saw him have one great play where he shook Alohi Gilman, so I assumed he's having the best camp ever. What, does one highlight not tell you the full story?
Probably doesn't tell you the full story.
Shocked.
Yeah.
So overall, why has it felt lesser than?
I think there's been more of the drop issues than I think you normally see with Travis.
That's a real big bummer because that's the main concern.
It's sometimes the timing between him and Mahomes has been off, and it looks like it's more a little bit of, hey, wait, Travis isn't where he usually is or used to be on these plays.
Well, there was also that play that I don't remember who it was. It might have been against Alohi Gilman when he cut across. I've just seen a video of it, cut across, and it was an amazing catch because he gets his head around and the ball's already there and his hands, puts his hands up and he's got the catch. My first thought, and everybody's like, oh man, what a great catch. My first thought was, didn't he talk about the offseason, how quickly I got to get my head around, look back to the football because he was late with his head back to the football and those were interceptions. And that one was, he had already cut left and he hadn't looked back yet. And by the time he looked back, the ball was on him. It's like, oh, great reaction. Oh, what a catch. My first thought was, I thought you were getting your head around quicker this year. Like that was a main point and focus. Not trying to critique the GOAT at tight end, but just going off something he specifically said he needed to improve on. And one specific play that I saw that was viewed as what a great catch by Kelsey. Me, it was, does he make that same catch in a game, or are his hands just a split second later and now that ball's in the air and it's a safety that catches it behind him?
I mean, this is coming from me that, I mean, if I had a vote, I mean, Travis Kelsey obviously is first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. But are we also talking about a guy who, getting ready to turn 37, isn't as fast and doesn't have the reactions that he had a few years ago? Yeah, I mean, but that's also natural. The thing about Kelsey is that he is still savvy enough to overcome the fact that he's not as fast and doesn't have the reactions he had a few years ago. It's just that, if you're Mahomes and you're Kelsey and you've been running the same plays for years, same routes and the same throws, and suddenly, the guy's maybe a half second slower than he was a few years ago, that's an adjustment to be made. I feel like I've seen the same thing with Noah Gray to a degree over the last, 2 seasons. I felt like he showed some signs of slowing down last year, and I still see like they're here this year.
He didn't have much room to slow down either.
And that's my, I guess, main concern yet again. Last year, it felt like they had the running back room as a hope and a prayer. This year, it feels a little like the tight end room is a hope and a prayer of, well, Travis Kelsey's Travis Kelsey. He'll do his thing. Noah Gray's a good tight end too. We've seen him do it before. Well, but he's slowed down. Pacheco, he's slowed down. It's not the same guy. And then after those two, Jared Wiley, who looks stronger, which you mentioned he looks like he might be able to do a little more. Brennan Stool, which
looks like a big slot.
Yeah, I mean, are you
small tight end, big slot?
We were concerned about tight end going into camp. Now that we're coming out of camp, where is your level? More, the same, or less?
Way to just take my what is O'Shea, Bieniemy, and Murray look like and immediately just
change the subject.
God, let's all do what Sterling was.
We're taking the scenic route.
We'll get there, but
we're gonna get there. We'll get there.
This was stuck on my mind, and if I didn't ask now, I was going to forget. Okay.
Speak now, forever hold your peace, Sterling.
And I am not going to hold bleep.
Yes, no, not hold your peace. Hold your pee.
I'm probably going to say about the same level of concern. Now, granted, that's because I was like almost DEFCON 1 going into camp. I mean, I was at least DEFCON 3, if not 2, going into camp.
Sterling, the lower is the more serious one.
Yeah.
Oh, really? The opposite?
I forgot. He didn't see War Games probably growing up.
He was reading 1984.
Yeah.
He didn't know what 1984 was.
He just said it's like 1984.
It was the greatest year in pop music, probably.
Thank you.
Also, a great album.
Thank you.
Van Halen.
See? There you go.
That's like one of my least favorite albums of theirs.
Because you don't like David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar.
I'm a Van Hagar fan. There is no doubt about that.
No, you were team
Gary Sharon?
Gary Sharon. Go back. So
Van Halen 3,
tight
not great.
Anyway,
no.
tight end?
Tight end.
Roughly the same?
I'm roughly the same because and now here's the crazy thing. I mean, I am still bullish on Travis because I think he's going to be a big part of this offense. I think Mahomes is still going to rely on him. I think he's still going to get the bulk of the snaps. He is still their best receiving tight end. I mean, we'll see. I think it would be great if Breeningstool plays himself into a bigger role because I think of everybody else, he's got the size, he's got what looks like the hands, the athleticism to be a guy that can give you more. But go back to this. I mean, and I haven't looked at it, but, go back to when Travis was a 1,400-yard tight end. I mean, the Chiefs were maybe getting close to 1,800 yards from their tight ends combined,
Yeah.
And hey, if Travis gives you 800 this year, I mean, maybe you get 1,000 or 1,100, maybe upwards of 1,200. I mean, the tight end room is not what it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Travis Kelce total in Vegas right now at 675.
And you know what? I would honestly probably bet the over.
I'll take the over on that.
I mean, because
675 would still be a massive drop off from even like his quote unquote bad year 2 years ago.
But because again, think about it. What we talked about in the first half of the show. We're talking about the impact that Kenneth Walker is going to have on this offense, and one of the effects on this offense it's going to have is that honestly, Travis Kelce is going to see a lot more one-on-ones, and that. It's probably going to be good in a lot of ways. And that one is that if Kenneth Walker's presence does help Travis, face more one-on-ones and get in those kind of positions. One, he still has the savvy to win those matchups. So I like those possibilities there. And there's still a handful of routes that Travis runs that good luck. I mean, unless you're putting a 6'4" corner on him, you're probably not going to be able to stop him.
675 would be 200 yards less essentially than any other year he's had in the NFL.
Yeah.
So from second year to 13th year.
And here's the other part.
The lowest,
too.
by the way, was 823, which was his quote unquote bad year. Still 150 yards less than what he had in his terrible year with his 97 receptions and only 823 receiving yards.
I've been asked this a lot, as far as how does Travis look compared to last year? Well, honestly, I mean, you go back to camp last year. I mean, Travis came in great shape.
Yeah.
I mean, he spent the entire summer basically getting ready for training camp.
He looked good.
He spent all this summer getting ready for the wedding.
Yeah.
So it's not. I mean, I was not expecting him to come into camp in the same shape that he was last year. He wasn't. Is he still playing himself up into shape? Yeah, and he's also got almost a month, it feels like, until the season starts. I mean, we're 24 days, is it, till the season starts now? I mean, that's still a long time.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's still time to round yourself into shape a little bit. But I think you should expect that Travis is going to be a little slower, just reaction time, speed-wise. But like I said, I mean, there's still things that he can do that nobody's going to stop. And in one-on-one situations, I like his chances. And, think about the fact that some of the biggest deficiencies of Travis the last few years have been the drops that have turned into interceptions. Well, even if he still has drops, bright side is there might be a fewer opportunities for interceptions if he's got fewer guys hanging around him.
That's a good point. Yeah, because the two that stand out, the Eagles game, it was interception and goes into the end zone. A guy catches it, returns to the 50, and then was it the Texans game? That it was a pretty easy catch, and it just bounces off his hands, and it goes into the Texans' hands, and it's an interception from Mahomes. But those things happen. Lots of stuff I still want to talk to you about, but I want to do this real quick. So Sterling brought up something. It was like, looking at the strategy this year was a little bit like the strategy in the running back room last year was, we'll be fine. Run it back, and it'll be good. Let's play this game. Red pill, blue pill. You go back to February, and the Chiefs have the red pill that Kelce returned. Let's play the different universe. It's the blue pill, and Kelce's retiring. What's the tight end room look like? Have they signed Njoku? Have they, signed somebody else out there? Or is it Noah Gray is your number one now? Did they draft Kenyon Sadiq? Did they draft Max Clare? If we're playing this game, and maybe it takes a break and then come back and after giving it some thought, I do, because before we go to break, let's just answer yes or no. Travis Kelce retires in February. The Chiefs tight end room looks just like this minus Travis Kelce. Yes or no?
I think no.
I think no as well. Let's take a time out and come back with what they may have done, which we can say if Travis Kelce retires at the end of this year, was it a mistake to not do that anyway this year? But a lot more stuff to get into with Matt Derrick. He's the man. And I want to know some other things about Eric Bieniemy, because he was there with that conversation with Andy Reid on Wednesday morning and talking about Kenneth Walker, talking about what last year was, the offseason, the coaching changes and things like that. More Zone coming up next. I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll hang out with Mick Schaefer coming up later on in the show. We heard from Brooks Sherman in the first hour. We heard from Jonathan Duncan in the first hour as well. Mayor Q, as the vote for the city council went through yesterday 11-2, and it'll head into next steps. That was a good portion of our first hour. Talking a lot of football in the previous hour. We'll also get into things we may want to see in the game coming up tomorrow. But I was really curious about how the impact in training camp would look with the different coaches. And I've, you don't know what somebody's personality is going to be like until they get to that particular city. So you can think of like any free agent and what's this guy, how's he going to take to coaching? What did the previous coaches think of him? People have high praise for Kenneth Walker, and Eric Bieniemy's given the sort of argumentative, but he wants to learn. He's never thinks he's wrong, but he does want to get it right. That's part of it. DeMarco Murray
like
talking
me,
about
honestly.
it. 100%. Yes, the same amount of skill too in running the football. And so, and Chad O'Shea talking about the wide receivers. We've heard those things. It goes into, Matt, a little bit where when you're playing towards the end of the season every year, and we saw this play out in real time, when you're playing towards the end of the season's over, you don't necessarily have a lot of options to go, and if you need to upgrade your coaching staff. Sometimes the best option is just who you already have. You're eliminated, you got a lot more time, and as soon as the season is over, you're out there looking for who the next coach is, which is O'Shea, DeMarco Murray, and then bringing back Eric Bieniemy. And I wonder how much if the Chiefs had not made the playoffs in 2024, and it's great that they went to 3 straight Super Bowls. I'll take that by being the first team ever to win back-to-back and go to the Super Bowl. But if they hadn't gone to the playoffs that year, if the crash was a year earlier, I don't know that Embry and Pinkston, and maybe even Nagy, I don't know, would have been necessarily on the team last year. Because I think they could tell pretty quickly, right, that, hey, things had to change, whether it's scheme-wise or freshening up, but something had to change. These things couldn't continue. And you went and kept the band together for a while, and it's time to maybe move on and reshape the band at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean, I kind of feel like, it was almost the right confluence of events. I mean, had the collapse happened a year earlier, I don't know.
I guess EB wouldn't have spent a year with Ben Johnson, so that's
and that kind of might have been.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, the Chiefs and EB might not have been ready.
Yeah.
For the reunion and everything like that. I mean, it kind of seemed like, I mean, because he would have been coming out with the UCLA experience and everything like that, and honestly, I mean, obviously the fact that they just came out 15-2 and lost the Super Bowl. I mean, it was
You're
a
like, is
different
there
attitude.
real an issue going on here? I mean, you went to 3 straight Super Bowls. You're really going to change everything up now?
Yeah, I mean, because again, how the collapse happened. I mean, it would have been interesting. If it just happened 1 year earlier and it happened exactly the same way as far as just how the team kind of went down in that regard, then I don't know. I mean, I just, like I said, I just wonder if it was that 1 year that's the right sequence of events and the confluence, because I don't know. I mean, I really don't think that a year earlier that the reunion would have worked.
So let's try it this way, in a different a different way of looking at it. We're looking at it through the lens of specifically Eric Bieniemy. What I would wonder is, and maybe not specifically Chad O'Shea or specifically DeMarco Murray, if it happened a year earlier and the EB reunion, quote unquote, wouldn't have had the right time, would Andy have still been saying, we need an EB type? We need a new wide receiver coach type. We need maybe a different running back coach type, and not necessarily a wide receiver that we like, but somebody that can specifically point out the details, the angle, the way this is being blocked, what their experience may be, pass pro techniques, all of that. we need to go that route, and we're looking for traits and maybe not necessarily the name. Where this year, the name and the traits matched up. It's Eric Bieniemy. But they might have been looking for an Eric Bieniemy type. Is there anything to that it just matched up that it was Eric Bieniemy? But if EB were a head coach somewhere and he's not available to come back, would they have been looking for a red ass, a hard-nosed, a detailed guy, and I'm not taking any bleep from you, I'm going to coach you hard, I'm going to get the best out of you, and I don't care if you're my friend or not. I don't care if you like me. You'll respect me, and at the end of the season, when you look back and see how good you are, you're going to like me then. That sort of type.
Yeah, in our conversation with Reed on Wednesday, there were a lot of things that he touched on, and and one of them was specifically about, hey, injuries played a part last year and all of it, but execution was probably a bigger part of it. And when they go through he mentioned about going through the whole scheme eval and everything, you go through that. But one of the things that was interesting was, he said he didn't think that the execution was at the high standard that they expect. And that's where I think the EB equation comes into it, because that's, again, his skill set. His skill set is getting players to execute at a high level.
And execute maybe at a higher level than they think they're capable of. But that's the expectation, or we'll find somebody else to meet the expectation.
And execute as a group. It's not even just the individual. It's about the group. And that's one of the and then another one of the things that I think is going to be curious to see how this year plays out, because as much as Andy Reid's always been a great schemer of screenplays, I mean, it goes back over the last 25 years. He's always been good with screens, but it requires a detail and detail. That's my fancy way of saying detail. It requires that level of execution.
Right. But the detail is like spacing, timing, how far out on your splits, how you let the let the defensive tackle go. Trey Smith was called for a holding because he threw the defensive tackle to the ground to get outside, when every offensive lineman is saying that's not a hold, that's teach tape, and the referee called this incorrectly. Those are all specific details that you're talking about in the screen game.
And I don't know if it was a screenplay or not, or if it was just a regular run play, but one of those times that EB calls up Brett Veach and wants the phone handed to Andy Reid is because he's literally saying Emmett Johnson's lined up 8 inches off. He needs to fix that.
That detail.
But that kind of detail, and especially when, like I said, the screen game is one of those aspects, because Andy Reid's screens are designed to run at that granular of a level. You've got to get those little details right, or it's not going to work. And I think one of the reasons why you didn't see a lot of screens in the last few years, I'm not sure he had the staff to implement it and to execute it.
Just too much.
Now he's, I think, got that
on Andy Reid's plate. Is that what it would come down to? Or I think the players respect Andy, clearly, right? But if there's just so much for one guy to do, he can't focus on the minutiae.
Right, exactly. Can Andy Reid be scheming an offense and then putting Emmett Johnson 7 or 8 inches to the right or the left while he's scheming up the next play, where Eric Bieniemy and DeMarco Murray and those guys whose job specifically it is to see where that guy is lining up, and Andy Heck's specific job to how quickly this offensive line is ejecting and getting out to go and lead block, which offensive lineman, which jersey he's looking for, which level. So 2 offensive linemen don't look at the other and say, you're going to get that guy, and they both run past him. And that guy makes the tackle, and you're like, really? Nobody wanted to block that guy? Because there's a lack of communication. I mean, some of that is going to be on the head coach, but also that's going to be on the individual coaching group. And that, I mean, we all have sort of come to the same conclusion. It was severely lacking last year.
And this is one of those things that probably only certain members of the audience will really, truly understand and appreciate. I'm starting to appreciate it myself, because even though I'm like 54, I feel 68.
I mean, you look 43.
Dang it, that's where I was going.
Fat don't crack.
I love that.
But, I mean, hey, Andy's 68.
Yeah.
Even if he has the attention to detail and notices these little things and everything, he needs help around him. He's not 43 anymore. He's not 48. He's not even 54. I mean, there has to be some other people that can have that attention to detail and help him out with those things. And that's EB. Yeah. EB is one of those guys that can, tell it on a Zoom from, a couple thousand miles away and is saying, hey, it's not lined up in the right spot. I mean, that's just the reality. And I mean, and this is maybe it's a take that I know that a lot of us don't necessarily want to think about. But I will say this, and that if this is another down year for the Chiefs, if it's a bad year and everything, and it's not a ton of injuries that you can really explain it on and everything. I mean, Sterling mentioned the plate. I don't think that there's necessarily too much on Andy's plate. I just think at 68, the plate's smaller. You know, maybe it is too much in the sense that it just doesn't fit as much as it used to. You know, he can't have as much. But then again, I think that's why he's went out and built the staff that he's got and brought some of the people in that he has, because EB knows how he thinks. And he does still have that juice that maybe Andy had 15 years ago. He's got, you know, an established wide receivers coach that when you've got a young wide receiver group that doesn't necessarily have a true leader, now you got a wide receivers coach that's got also a bunch of rings that they can pound on the table and, you know, be kind of, if not a mentor at least, but a little bit of a, you know, role model for these guys that can scream at them a little bit.
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray's the same way. I mean, he's an accomplished guy. There's nobody in that room that can look at DeMarco Murray and say, this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what I wonder. Like, I also wonder, would Kenneth Walker have been able to be coached by Todd Pinkston? Kenneth Walker, I love the signing, and he seems like a pretty good dude. It's what he comes across as quiet, sort of unassuming, but he's not that on the field because he's gotten into some scraps with Alohi Gilman, and which is fine. You know, some of those things will happen, and you need that fire. And maybe he was told by the coaches, hey, in this running back room, I need you to be an AH. I need you to show everybody that this is not the running back room of yesteryear. Hey, Frank Clark, I need you to make sure the offense knows that the defense, they're not going to be patsies this year. They're not going to be pushovers. You guys are just as strong on this team. Let them know. Ain't nobody jumping off sides here anymore. Okay, Frank, Tyron, we need that from you. Kenneth, we need an edge to this running back room. So if you feel like, you know, somebody hits you a little bit hard, okay, do it. Go do what you feel like you need to do. Maybe that was the message. But if Kenneth Walker is sort of argumentative, and DeMarco Murray says that, you know, Kenneth Walker texts him and says, you know, after watching film, you were right, coach, which means that at the time they were talking, Kenneth Walker did not think he was right, that the coach was right. I wonder if Kenneth Walker looks at Todd Pinkston, if he has this sort of attitude of he always wants to be right, and he's kind of argumentative, if there's more of a, dude, I know you played in the NFL, but you were a wide receiver, man. I'm a running back here, as opposed to DeMarco Murray. He's got it. He's done it. He's been there. He was a stud at Oklahoma. He was a stud in the NFL, leading rusher. Like, Kenneth, you want to have success of a couple of years that DeMarco Murray has had. Not a Super Bowl MVP, but that's a guy that you respect, that's done it, been in the trenches, and can tell you, this is what I did or how I did it. If you're going to be like that, this is the way you need to do that. If you are maybe a tougher nut to crack in terms of being coached hard.
That's the crazy thing about this whole thing is that, you know, you're talking about taking Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, coming off of all of that, coming to a team where he's playing for DeMarco Murray, who has obviously been a successful coach at the college level, was a successful running back at the NFL level. His boss, in turn, is Eric Bieniemy, who's been one of the best running backs coaches over the last quarter century of anybody out there. And his boss is Andy Reid, who has clearly coached some great running backs over the years and had some great offenses. As much as everybody talks about, you know, Andy hating the run game and only wanting to throw the football and everything like that, and dude's had Brian Westbrook, and he got the best out of Jamal Charles and Kareem Hunt, and I mean, good grief, look, he won Super Bowls with Damian Williams, bless his heart. I mean, Damian Williams should have been a Super Bowl MVP too, but
it was Mahomes.
How do you feel?
Could have been
the running back room, the touches break down? Because I've been pretty on record saying I think Kenneth Walker is not going to be the traditional bell cow that some folks think he might be.
Also DeMarco Murray, real quick, can point to his 1,900 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns in 2014.
1845, while also having 416 yards receiving.
His 2,300 yards from scrimmage and his 13 touchdowns that he had that year, and being Offensive Player of the Year. Pinkston really couldn't point to that as a running back. DeMarco Murray can.
Yeah. And so
go ahead, Sterling. I just want to point that out too, as we're talking about the respect and the bona fides. DeMarco Murray brings the bona fides to the table when he's talking to Kenneth Walker.
Do we see Kenneth Walker hovering around that 15 to 17 touches a game that I think some people might be frustrated by versus the maybe 22 plus that folks might want to see? Because again,
you said touches. I just want to make sure we're clarifying touches.
I did number.
Yeah.
I did a whole breakdown on this.
Yeah,
I think
good.
it was on Monday when you were gone.
Good.
We did a breakdown on this, and
somebody hears 15 to 20, and it's like they're going to run the ball. That no touches. Good
touches.
Clarify.
And that's what it was when he had his most efficient, successful seasons.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he was. It kept him fresh for the playoff run. Yes, I think that Charbonnet was a good player, but I think even Seattle realized, hey, Kenneth Walker's better. But if we want to have Kenneth Walker be the best he can be, the most efficient he can be, we do need Charbonnet in here in certain situations. It's why we see Bijan split carries with Tyler Algier. It's why Jahmyr Gibbs split carries with David Montgomery. I think that's the best way of it. It's why Derrick Henry, as much touches and carries as he gets, why they still the third down back for him in Baltimore. Devon Achane, a lot of times they had a split situation with Devon. Where do you see Kenneth Walker having that sweet spot this year? And will fans be maybe a little upset at the lack of touches versus expectations?
Yeah, so maybe the touches per game you might be looking at?
I mean, I do think it's going to be up there at the higher number. I mean,
you do? Okay.
Do I think it's going to be 30? No.
Well, no. That's Larry Johnson territory.
Yeah.
That's 413 carries in a season territory.
And hey, you know what? There's going to be some games probably where he ends up with 8 carries. And you know what? I mean, I think if the Chiefs win that game in a game that he's had 8 carries, he might have had like 8 catches too. I mean, there's going to be some games that are lopsided in one way or the other, and things are going to go squirrely. But yeah, I mean, I do think he's probably going to end up in that 20 to 22 touches category.
So more of a bell cow.
Because I think he's going to catch a lot of passes.
More of a bell cow versus a.
See, I almost say not like a traditional bell cow because I think and maybe it's just the way I think of it versus the way you think of it, and maybe universally. I mean, I think of a bell cow. I'm thinking like, okay, this is a dude
Saquon
that's
Barkley, CMC.
getting 20 to 22 runs per game.
Derrick
a Derrick Henry.
That's what I kind of think of too. It's the running part of it.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah. I'm with you. When I think of bell cow, it's like 3 down back. You know, a 3 down back, and it's just going to be feed him the rock, hand it off over and over, and you can throw him in the passing game.
I mean, but Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't that last year.
Yeah.
Bijan wasn't that necessarily last year with Tyler Algier.
And maybe the definition is changing as offenses are evolving of what a bell cow running back is, where I've always thought of a bell cow as just like you're carrying the ball 300 times.
And you know what? I mean, we're also talking about those running backs. We're also talking about a couple of guys who haven't sniffed the Super Bowl yet.
Yeah,
so
true.
Maybe. And the Chiefs really lean on when they're talking about what they think that Kenneth Walker is capable of. They're like, look at that playoff run when Charbonnet was down, and Kenneth Walker was the bell cow. He got all the touches. He did everything, and those were maybe the 3 best games of his life that he played there in the postseason, and that's one thing that the Chiefs are absolutely betting on. And we're going to find out early whether or not that this bet is safe, because I don't think it's that, they're betting on Kenneth Walker being able to handle 15, 20 runs a game. I think they feel safe about that. It's been shown that he can handle that. The question is whether or not he can be an effective receiver out of the backfield, intermediate, downfield, because Seattle never trusted him to do that. Seattle exclusively pretty much used him as a dump-off guy, as a guy, his average depth of target in his NFL career is like 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Seattle did not trust him to go downfield. And I've heard from some people in Seattle it was because, well, he had no hands, so he dropped everything. I mean, he didn't seem to drop anything in the playoffs. I mean, he had, when trusted, he seemed like he had a pretty good run. So was it just that Seattle never trusted him to do that, like Charbonnet more?
He had 11 targets, 9 receptions.
I mean, and there was one bad day he had at camp where it just seemed like he was dropping everything. And granted, again, it was one of those hot days. Maybe the ball was humid. Maybe his hands were slick. I don't know. Other than that, I mean,
that was the playoffs after Charbonnet. I just want to clear up with the 11 targets, 9 receptions was not for the year. That was the games he played when Charbonnet went out. Okay, but I mean, 11 targets, 9 receptions.
I've seen this guy, toast some defensive backs downfield on wheel routes, on deep throws. I mean, and I've seen him working, over the middle, like angle routes out of the backfield. I mean, he has been able to work. They've split him out and been able to do some things with him. He looks a lot more effective as a receiver out of the backfield than he ever looked in Seattle. Now, it's training camp in St. Joe. It's not the same thing as game, but I think we're going to find out in the first 3 or 4 weeks. I think we'll know before the bye week whether or not that the reality that Kenneth Walker is the back that the Chiefs think that he is true.
Yeah, so if he ends up with 20 touches per game this year, that would be 85 more in a season than he's had in his career, which would be 5 more per game. Now, that's if he plays a full season, whereas some of those touches came in years where he got hurt.
Yeah.
If it matches what he did in the playoffs after Charbonnet, that would be 25 touches per game. That would be 419 in the course of the season, which I think is
high.
Nowhere near what he's going to be. But in the playoffs, I think it would match what the playoffs were. I think Seattle using Kenneth Walker may not be how Seattle using Kenneth Walker in the playoffs without Charbonnet is probably not going to mimic how the Chiefs use Kenneth Walker during the regular season.
Right.
But will mimic how the Chiefs use Kenneth Walker in the playoffs if he's healthy.
Do you have what his high for receptions was?
In the playoffs?
Just in a regular season.
Regular season, 4 receptions are his highest, and that came...
Oh, in a full season.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies.
I think it was the year he got injured, actually.
Yeah, so receptions in a season, the high was 46.
Was that the year he played 11 games?
That was the year he played 11 games.
Yeah, for some reason, I've looked at a lot of Kenneth Walker.
Clearly.
You know what?
Statistics.
I mean, if you told me that he was going to have 40 more catches and 45 more runs, wouldn't stun me.
Over the course of the season, then what you would, so that would get you to 85.
Exactly.
More touches this year than
and that's
that.
not a heavy workload on either end.
No, it's not. But we've seen, like Damian Williams, for instance, the Chiefs throughout that year had many different running backs. Then you get to the postseason,
one,
and it was Damian Williams. There were only 2 running backs that carried the football that postseason, and it was 1 carry for Darwin Thompson after Rose Bowl right.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
First and goal at the 1 in the Super Bowl is the
Darwin.
It's the only time a running back carried the ball in the postseason not named Damian Williams.
The D train.
Yeah. It
That's
was
crazy.
All Damian Williams. Damian Williams getting the ball, a screen pass, Damian Williams. It was the one. Imagine if Darwin rushed for a touchdown there and is the only attempt given to a running back not named. I'd be kind of pissed if I was Damian Williams, but also he didn't score on that because that was the Mahomes option where he snuck into the end zone, I believe. So, we'll see what happens. I want to get your thoughts. What are you looking for tomorrow? So we've seen game number 1.
Seen game number 1.
So anything that may be different you want to see, or maybe from players you were wanting to see last week do something and they didn't? Anything you may be watching for tomorrow?
I mean, if, any of the starting receivers play, I mean, I'd like to see what happens there. I'm not convinced that, Rice or Worthy are going to play much or if all. So I would like to see that. Considering how rough a game it was last week for the second team offensive line, I kind of want to see that bounce back. Hey, they're not all going to make the team. And we may see more young guys mix in. I mean, based on what we saw in practice yesterday, which is usually a pretty good tell about what the lineups are going to be. Who knows? We might see more of Khalil Benson. He might play a little bit with the second team, and then we kind of get to see how that unit works a little bit. But Kate Caliendo, they may mix some younger guys in there too. But again, Esapole, Ethan Driscoll's going to get some work. I want to see those guys have a pretty good run together. Certainly fewer penalties would be nice for that group. So you would just like to see a cleaner group.
Yes.
Secondary should get tested a little bit more this time around. I mean, they got tested for their eyes last week to see if they could recognize a bootleg. They could not.
No.
Not entirely on the secondary, but pretty much the entire defense acted like they'd never seen a bootleg before.
Yeah, there were a couple of letting guys get outside, completely misidentifying somebody that's crossing their face on a bootleg. Like there was some rough plays last week.
Corners and secondary should get a little bit more tested tomorrow, and I definitely want to see that. I don't know that we'll see. I mean, if we see Delane, that'd be great. I don't know that we're going to see L'Jarius Sneed, although he did practice yesterday as a starter, and I'm still not entirely sure how that's all going to work and everything. But again, you just need to see that. So I want to see how that all works out. We're going to see a lot more, obviously, since Andy Reid said Justin Fields will get maybe a quarter and a half for Garrett Nussmeier. It doesn't. Sometimes it might end up being less for Fields and more for Nussmeier.
Hopefully.
So. But I mean, considering how good Fields looked in that limited action last week, I'd like to see a little bit more of extended looks and a little bit larger sample size. See how that goes. I still don't think there's any competition there. I mean, I think it's clearly Fields is 2 and Nussmeier 3, but Nussmeier's trying to claim that third quarterback spot on the 53 and not just on the practice squad. So that'll go a long way there. I mean, and I'm still going to take this team to lose because until they win a preseason game, I'm going to bet them to lose.
No, I keep betting them to win, and it's wrong.
The worm is gonna turn at some point. It's gonna go back. It's gonna land on red. Damn it! It keeps being
getting good odds.
I should say choose rather than bet because once again we have discussed.
No.
If you are betting on preseason football, 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Okay, sorry, I'm a psychopath.
I feel really good about the Chiefs winning this weekend.
If you're betting on preseason football, I'll tell you what, Sterling, give me all the money you were going to bet.
Yeah.
I will set your shirt on fire.
Okay.
You will end up even, and I will feel better, and therefore that should make you feel better.
It's a good-looking Salmon Vineyard Vines shirt. So I don't think you want to set that on fire.
It's actually a great shirt. But he needs a surface, some sort of punishment.
Can he take the shirt off before he set it on fire, or is that the punishment?
I wouldn't do it while he was on.
I didn't know if that was the punishment or not.
Why would I be on fire?
You need to suffer a loss of some sort.
You would have to be on fire.
You can't just give me your money. I mean, you have to.
You would have to be on fire.
Suffer some pain too.
Yeah, your betting would have to be on fire to bet the Chiefs to win in preseason, and they do. You'd have to be really feeling it at that point because they just don't do it.
And the crazier thing, really, than betting the Chiefs to win might be that they'll bet the Chiefs to have an anytime scorer. So
that's true. Yes,
but that's another thing I would like to see. I'd like to see this team get in the end zone just for their own self-confidence.
They're gonna win. Sterling stamp.
Yeah, and I'm not going to jokingly break down this game like I did last week when we were talking about, I'm not betting on preseason. But the heat and everything tells you that the Rams coming in town. Like, no, I'm not putting money on it.
I listened to you last time,
well, you're
Jason,
stupid.
and I was dumb. I also did the Giants because of Harbaugh.
My fake take breakdown of preseason football ain't happening. I'm not putting money on preseason football.
I listened to you.
Don't do that, man.
That was wrong.
No, when I'm being facetious or if I give you a preseason take the opposite.
In fairness, I've spent $10 in way dumber ways.
That's a good point. Yeah, that is a definite good point.
Spent on skee ball last night.
I just I'm curious.
I'm surprised you weren't playing skee ball though with Will Forte or something.
You could have been. Well, yes, at one point he did. That was just karaoke and things like that. Melvin Smith seems to be on the team. That's one that's been kind of a surprise. At the cornerback spot. I want to see how much he plays because it's also like Jaden Hicks played the whole game. He was in the fourth quarter. It's like he was a bubble roster spot. Jaden Hicks, where Melvin Smith was like early on, and then they worked in other guys with Christian Fulton and other cornerbacks, and it was like, okay, Melvin Smith running with the first team gunner. Like if he's out there tomorrow with the first team cornerback, I'm not saying he's going to start, but it seems like he's ahead of the other guys in the pecking order.
Melvin Smith is like an 85% likely to make the roster guy for me.
He's a guy that next Friday I will have on my roster that I did not have on my roster before training camp started. I'll be switching that one. Yeah, and I'd really like to see Khalil Benson get a couple more series. Like I was surprised that Khalil Benson was treated as a definite starter in that he was with the ones came off, and Benson stayed off as well, that he wasn't out there getting more reps. That was a little bit of a surprise, too, just to get reps and reps and reps for a guy that went undrafted and was a camp body that ended up making it. So we'll see. Matt Derrick has a stone cold winner of the week is the Chiefs taking care of the Bucks.
Stone cold lock.
28-7? 28-7, was that the score you gave?
I'm going to go
7-28.
Give me 28-21, 7 Harrison Butker field goals.
I was like, wow, they scored 3 touchdowns. Yes,
27-21.
Yes. Does Kenneth Walker carry the ball? He played
Probably
one snap.
Not.
Played one snap last week.
I still feel like he played one snap just so they could tell Chris Jones, oh, hey, Kenneth Walker played one snap.
No, they did it because it was in KC, and so all the fans can see him.
Can we just spend just 1 second acknowledging the Steve Spagnuolo taking no responsibility for that one snap whatsoever and saying you do what the head coach says.
I do what the head coach says. Is that right? I guess I didn't know if it was only one play. I guess I'll take your word for it. But when the head coach says, what the boss man says,
one play out there,
I'm gonna do it. Sorry, Chris. Matt, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks, guys.
We will talk to Matt Derrick next Friday as the Chiefs will be gearing up for their final preseason game at home. And we'll take a timeout. We'll come back and talk with one Mick Schaefer next.
my mind.
All right, there we go.
At any point here, you know what? I got enough of Tampa. No, I've been there since then. I was there for the Super Bowl.
That's right. I remember. That's when you pushed the guy out of the live shot.
That's right. And then the next year there was a Sunday night game, I believe, and I went there for that. The Chiefs got a little bit of revenge.
That was when Mahomes did the spin move on the sideline and the little flip to Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yes.
The shovel pass.
That was one of the best plays.
Seriously. Still is one of the best Mahomes plays, and one of the best plays from a quarterback
back in the end zone.
Seen.
That was unreal.
Also, remember when Clyde got a carry last year in a game?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's probably when we should have known. They're going to invest a lot more in the running back room.
Is he anywhere now? Do we know?
He might be on the Chiefs practice squad still. He's just perpetually there, I think.
He's not even at camp. He's just already on the practice squad.
Just there.
It's not even at camp. He's just there. It's like, who's on their practice squad? Well, they have one person already. It's Clyde, and then they'll fill out the other 15.
Yeah.
Plus Chew.
He's just an American professional football running back right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love how
he's in America.
I like how Wikipedia says that he's an American professional football running
there's
back.
regular football, soccer, and American football.
There's Australian football.
My only trip is to Seattle. I know I'm taking that one. That's a Sunday night game in late October, so I'll be there for that, which is a gorgeous city, obviously.
It may rain, though, that day.
It may rain. I think it rains 400 days a year there. I didn't know. Are you guys watching Hard Knocks?
I haven't seen this week's episode.
I hadn't seen their I guess I haven't either. Well, no, I haven't finished it. But I didn't know how nice their practice facility is.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. That's unreal. It looks like heaven.
Seahawks? You've got the practice
right
field
there,
and got a few trees,
a forest, and then water and
beautiful water. Like you can be on the practice field practicing, and you can see the water.
I mean,
like 100
if you
yards
run
to your
too
right.
hard out of bounds, you might get wet.
Well, dude, the Northwest is just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Like when it's not raining.
But that facility is
when it first started, Mick, the first episode, they were showing. First of all, I don't need all of the, will this team fly again?
Oh, yeah, they're really big into the punny lines,
that. It starts off. I'm like, all right, this is a little too much.
They play right next to the sea.
Yes, they're nesting atop the NFL, and it shows like the eagle flying.
You said that word for word.
Yes, and so. But they were showing it like across the body of water. I don't know if it's a lake or whatever it is that's right there.
It's a bay, I think.
Bay. I didn't know if it was the bay or if it's just a body of water.
Because once you go on the way, there's
Was it man-made? I don't know. But I saw them doing that, and I thought the drone was going to take us to like Mike McDonald's house that lives on a lake, not drone into the practice facility right there off the water. I had no clue that was the case.
So nice. It's so cool.
Beautiful as hell. I mean,
it looks really new too. I don't know if this is the first year they're there.
If I'm a free agent, I might sign with the Seahawks based on the practice facility alone.
You're in a bad mood. Nobody wants to practice every day, right? You get up there, but there's no choice but to be in a great mood once you walk out there and see that scenery.
Training camp has that scenery in 70 degrees.
Missouri Western in the dorms.
Hey, Kenneth Walker, how's your experience in training camp from there to here? No wonder Kenneth Walker's argumentative.
What was I thinking?
He's in a bad mood. He's just in a bad mood today. Why? Well, did you see where he was?
It's better at the Chiefs practice facility, but it's not like there's a Subway and a gas station, and there's a Taco Bell. That's it around there.
Highway right there.
Yeah. So like cars FCA across the highway.
You can hear motorized vehicles. It's not a boat, but like you used to. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I didn't realize that was the case too. And I don't know. Maybe Kenneth Walker, when he showed up to St. Joe, was like, was $14 million worth it? They offered me 10. The $12 million, I'm not sure. But hey, at least the Chiefs have him. But yeah, I have not seen this week's episode of Hard Knocks, but I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good. I think it's been a good one.
It's just, it's great. I mean, just the best of the best.
I like that they're
produce
using
it and shoot it and all that stuff.
But it's like, I'm glad that the NFL changed the rules in that, hey, we just can't do crappy teams every year. Because, like, yes, there's some starving for football, but like the storylines of crappy teams, of here are the Browns storyline, amazing offensive line coach when he huts and his stomach moves. Okay, but are they going to be any good? Right? Here's the Raiders and different bad teams. Okay, well now you get the defending Super Bowl champions. You've got the turnover there. You've got the head coach.
It's the best time to ask a team, right? When they're in a great mood after winning the Lombardi.
Let's do it, dude. I liked how if they fight on the field, They've got to do the what is that? The
sledgehammers.
Sledgehammers.
Those up. That was a Kansas City kid.
That's right.
That was Richmond, Mason Richmond from Blue Valley.
That's right. He won it, right?
No, he lost.
Damn it.
Well, he shouldn't have been up there. He did nothing wrong on the field. It was Riley, the D end, who got all mad, and he's just laughing at him as Riley's popping him in the face. Mm-hmm. But then they get up there, and Riley's just jacked, right? He's this line. I don't know if he ever got tired holding those things up.
I don't think he ever made a different facial expression of just staring straight ahead, holding the sledgehammers on Hard Knocks to see who wins a fight. If you fight at training camp to settle the beef, they go up on stage in the big meeting room. They hold sledgehammers to the right, hold their arms straight out, and then the person whose arm drops from 90 degrees first loses. And the dude the DN that started the fight and was clearly the aggressor just stood up there with them to his right, staring straight ahead. And then the local Kansas City kid, he had it for a while, but then his arms
just shaking for the last couple of minutes.
And the other guy's like, Vince Vaughn, still holding, smoking a cigarette,
in his mouth.
An interesting way of.
You should watch TV.
That's
how was Hard Knocks? How was the Hard Knocks book?
It is old school. Good job.
I know old school.
Do you like the Hard Knocks book so far? The first 3 episodes of the book?
Yeah, it's a lot different. It's weird. It actually is about the history of knocking. It's all about
Hard Knocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
big knocks,
small knocks, little knocks,
Fort Knocks,
big knockers,
knocked up.
Yeah. Okay. I thought we were going to
stop. Mick, that was inappropriate.
I thought we were going to stop at Fort Knox. Fort Knox was our landing the plane.
Knoxville.
And we were going to move on from that. So you're not actually heading to Tampa. That's interesting.
No, I'm not. But we'll have a presence there. We'll have an on-field person there.
Yeah.
We'll have a camera guy. We'll run some post-game.
There we go.
Sound. We get some sound, some reaction from the podium, and all that stuff.
What's tomorrow's schedule like for you?
I'm off.
Nice. Yes.
It's preseason.
Because I know you weren't off last Saturday.
No.
So you can say it's preseason all you want.
It's a home game.
But it was preseason. So you can't just go, it's preseason. It's a preseason road trip.
It's a preseason road game, and I'm Mick Schaefer.
More so next. championship. Mick,
I need
you
a
wanna-
ride
You want to
out there.
carpool with Curtis?
When's he leaving? Yes.
I'm going to guess before this show ends.
I see him over there.
Yeah. Curtis, can Mick hitch a ride with you over to Blue Hills?
I'll leave this show early. I don't mind.
It's funny.
You? Yeah.
It's funny. He's just looking at his. Here's the thing. He can hear us, but he's staring at his phone like, don't make eye contact. What he's doing is
There's a delay though. Maybe it's just not
right
hitting
now
him.
he's sitting in the aisle seat, and everybody's walking by, and he's
Looking down.
old Southwest when you didn't have assigned seats,
Yes.
and looking down like, oh, I can't make eye contact. Nope, I can't move. Sorry, this middle seat, it's open right now, but I can't move. I'm just looking at my phone. I can see you and I can hear you, but I'm ignoring you. That's what he's doing right now.
I
this one.
do miss pick your seats on Southwest. That was the best. And then the bags that fly free.
Well, that's
the bigger one.
That's
but yes.
the bigger one. Yes. The one
Bring it back.
good thing.
Bring back troughs and bring back Old Southwest.
The one good thing would be, when it's to pick your seats, that I don't have to then be setting 5 alarms for right at 24 hours, so that I can immediately check in and be B72. It only goes to 60. I get it. That would be C12. But anyway,
Or you could
so
pay
not
the
that-
$15 extra,
true.
be the early bird. Although
get
everybody does
A45.
it, you still get like B6.
It's A45. The only thing here is the boarding groups, and is there enough space for you to put your overhead luggage? That's it.
I like chaos. I want the chaos.
Great.
You just said, yeah.
Just get there, and I don't care. C19. I'll still rock it.
Seat 19. Okay.
C19.
Oh, C19.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
I always liked when people didn't know the open seating before, and like their seating section was like C25, and they'd be walking down the aisle, and I'm right here. I'm C25. This is my seat. No, it's not.
A different number for a different thing.
I promise you, your seat is not C25. You boarded with the C's for a reason, right? I just thought it was A boarding. It's but that would be the aisle.
There'd be a lot of people in that A row.
I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We had up until 2 o'clock. We got the cuts before the show is over. We'll go through our predictions as to the final score of the Chiefs and Bucks. I'm just joking. We're not going to do that at all. Why would we? No reason. Giggity. But Mick Schaefer is hanging out with us today.
Is there a giggity?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In the year of 2026? Hell yeah.
That's exactly
You
right.
ever watched Family Guy?
I love Family Guy.
Okay.
I just
Yep.
Quagmire action.
Yep, you're right. It's that's what we're doing. Noah Cameron is on the mound tonight for the Rawls against the Detroit
You know,
Tigers.
I think the assistant pitching coach should call pitches tonight.
Just to see what happens.
Just kidding. Noah should never not call his own pitches.
Always call your pitches from now on. I don't care if you have a bad outing or two. You will always call your own pitches from now on.
See a bad outing or two coming.
No, I mean it's been 5 in a row. The guy's
No
been
one else should
unbelievable.
call him.
What's that?
No one else.
Yeah. I love the arc of Noah's career.
Your turn, Jason.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm not even.
Okay,
not
He
even
goes pitches 2x2 on it.
Is that right?
Yeah, 2 curveballs to go, 2 fastballs.
Just to make sure that they will last.
Floods the
So
zone.
they can.
Oh,
There you go.
Mine wasn't working. I didn't want to have dead air while I thought. You know, it wasn't. The synapses weren't firing. And I'm like, I know what? I'm out. I'm eject from this one instead of coming up with a bad one. The flood was right there the whole time.
Right there.
Dang it. That's too bad. But you guys are on it. So Bobby Witt is on it. So we talked about, is there a steady decline in Bobby? Do we worry about 2027 for Bobby? Because we've seen the numbers when he was
come back.
right. But number 2 MVP, then last year a little bit worse, then this year, like, oh man, it's going downhill. So after Jack astutely pointed out a couple of weeks ago that, you know, when Bobby tried to play through the knee injury and then eventually went on the IL with a back, I think those are probably correlation causation.
Very well be, yeah.
That was an 18-game stretch for Bobby in which he OPS'd at like 500 or less than that. In the 92 games Bobby has played, when he wasn't trying to play through the knee injury that resulted in the back tightness and then the IL stint. 92 games. Here are his numbers. So if we're wondering, is Bobby heading in the wrong direction? 92 games not fighting through an injury. 300, 390, 480. So he's at almost 870 OPSing, which he would also pace for 41 doubles, 23 home runs. The home runs are now coming, so if he continues this over the next week, those will come.
I'm glad he's going to get to 20
yes,
this year.
Those will increase if you look at a 92-game span and move that out to 162. 72 RBIs, not his fault because he had like 20 RBIs a month and a half into the season. He would also pace for 55 stolen bases. 79 walks would be 20 more than his career high, and 120 strikeouts. So he's walking more. It would be a career high stolen bases for him. It would be, I think, the second most doubles, the second highest OPS after the year two, or finishing second in the MVP voting. The RBIs are down, obviously, and the home runs he's had, you know, a number of seasons with more than that. So I think we can say the worry that and the concern that was there because of the slump he was in, if we look at injury against the Cardinals to then coming back from the IL stint, that 18 games, other than that, he's an 870 OPS and pacing for what we have seen Bobby do since he became one of the best players in baseball.
And so you would just look at like the power numbers, specifically home runs, maybe down a little over the last 2 years.
Yep, 23 home runs now versus what was he?
32.
32? What was he last year?
23
last year.
Yeah.
So this would be the exact same this year. What was he? What was he in?
24 was 32.
Yeah. So what was 23?
Let me do some.
I feel like high 20s.
Oh shoot! Did the wrong thing.
No, you're fine. Don't do the wrong thing anymore.
Well, no, you know when you click it and it goes to.
So he had back-to-back 30 home run seasons. That's what I thought. I was like, I thought there was another 30. So he had 30, 32, 23, and now he's down to 16. But he's had 3 in his last 5 games. So the power is coming back for Bobby.
You just see it from watching on TV how quick his bat is now. He's pulling so much.
Well,
and it's just
he has that
jump
Mike
off the bat.
Trout-esque where he just fires the hands through, and I love seeing him go pull side now.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because he is good enough to hit the single the opposite way, and that's great to see. But when he's pulling the ball, you can tell he's going, well, his hands just fire through so quick. And
you see how confident he is too on that walk-off. That was the first pitch.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm not messing around here. That's first pitch.
He's barreling things up now. He looks like he's, and I do wonder a part of it where how much fun is he having when the Royals were awful and he's got a back and a knee and he's sort of doing the extra stuff just to get back out there to play because he's trying to fight through it because they're struggling. And then, okay, now you lose Bobby and Michael and Vinny. And then, all right, you got to put him on the IL, and now he feels healthy again, and now he's back to having fun and being Bobby at the plate, and he looks like this. So I will say this return from the IL has gone a long way for me than just going, okay, 2027, you have Bobby, and you can put Bobby into the he's Bobby. Doesn't mean that that's all you need is Bobby. We've seen that before. But the whole 977 OPS in 24, 852 in 25, and then before this stretch, it was like 808. Like, oh, that's heading in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, actually, it's 870 outside of that 18-game stretch. And by the way, that 18-game stretch dropped his OPS from 870 to like 808. That's how bad that stretch was.
It got down to 799. I thought at one point it got.
But I mean, right. It might have been down there. It might have been down to that. I got to go look at the game logs.
Somebody missed about 2 weeks.
He missed 18 total games. Or excuse me, no. He missed. Sorry,
he played those 18
games.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me click on.
How long was he on the IL
here? So he went on the IL on July 20th, and he came back August 4th.
It's about 2 weeks.
It's about 2 weeks, yeah. Missed 13 games, I guess that would be, in that stretch. And boy, it's worth it. I talked about with Les Norman, and I think I think going into the offseason and next year, I think the lesson to be learned here is if Bobby's trying to fight through something and you see he's not Bobby, just put him on the IL, let him get healthy, because 18 games of Bobby OPSing at 500 sounds great, but he missed 13 games on the IL. So you really lost him for 31.
Almost a
month full of
20% of the season.
Yep. He got injured on June 18th, and he came back August 4th finally healthy. So the lesson here is if he's dealing with something that you're like, he might have to sit 5 or 6 days, but he wants to play through it because we're in the hunt. In the hunt in early June, put him on the IL, get him right, get him back to being Bobby, because 31 games is essentially what they lost from Bobby this year.
All I'm saying is, if the Royals win 19 more in a row, they'll be 500. And
it's crazy how good they have to be just to get back. I was thinking
24.
What if they did the 27? What did the Red Sox win? Like 27 out of 30, I think. So if they did that, I mean, that still put them at like, don't they have 74 losses now? 75, something
74.
like that?
Only 74
55
losses.
and 74.
So they would still be approaching 80 losses at that point. Like, so 27-30 would get you back out of 30, would get you back in it, but I don't think 20 out of 30 would.
No.
It wouldn't. You'd be at 84 losses.
You have to go at 27-3 in your next 3. Have a chance.
We're not focusing on it or even paying attention to it, but in the last week, they've shaved 3 games off the wild card. They were 11.5 out. Now they're 8.5 out in 1 week.
I'm just saying,
like, if they were in it, you'd be talking about
playing the worst teams in the American League.
Exactly.
You get to play the
now you play the Tigers
and the Athletics.
It could be like
every
the Globetrotters and Generals. Yes. Play them every time.
Yeah, not Savannah Bananas and the Party Animals, because they actually win some.
They do.
That's what actually makes me so even more upset is the fact that the offense was so ass to start the year.
And then the bullpen
has been so ass all year long that if it's only one of them weren't
ass.
Bad. Or if you lined them up being ass together.
Yeah, then it wouldn't matter.
Off.
And just lose all those games.
Yeah, you're losing anyway.
Really good together. And then you're winning all those games.
I mean, that has to be so frustrating, especially if you're sitting there and you're JJ, which I'm not trying to just say, oh, he did a great job. That's not what I'm saying. But you're going, okay, we have Estevez, we have our bullpen figured out, we have Lucas Erceg, we're good to go. And then all of a sudden, those two guys,
Strom,
we bring in Strom,
Erceg, Strom, and Estevez.
We have the 7th, 8th, and 9th figured out, guys.
Coyote, they just fell off a cliff.
Yeah,
yep. And Anvil with them too, just to accelerate the drop.
Yep. And look. It's crazy. The Tigers are doing it again. They're doing the Tigers thing where they trade their pitchers and then they start competing.
Yeah, they started to struggle the last couple games.
Well, I love the commentary from Baseball Tonight and stuff, and they're talking about the Tigers, and they're like, well, the Tigers are back competing. They just have to ask themselves if they have enough pitching to make it to the finish line. I'm like, Yeah, they just traded Skubal and Casey Mize.
Yeah.
So, yes, do they have enough pitching to make it? I'll be pretty annoyed if they have enough pitching to get to the postseason after trading their 1 and 2.
Well, Troy Melton's been great.
Yeah, Melton's been good. But, of course, the question is, do they have enough pitching? They traded their 1 and either 3 or 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Troy Melton has been
better than Framber Valdez.
Yeah, much better. And he's on the mound tonight against Noah Cameron, so it's a fun pitching matchup.
Yeah, Troy Melton is 7-1 with a 1.71 ERA this year.
So Melton's been good all year long.
Year?
Yes.
He's only pitched like 85 innings. He's pitched 84 and a third.
Yeah. And so now you've got Noah Cameron in his last. This might be a 1-0 game tonight. So what the Royals were used to early in the year. Yeah, take the over. Take the guaranteed over in this one. So yeah, it's when JJ was having his press conference about just naming players around the diamond, it was a different feeling at that time because Bobby was on the IL, and
Vinny was on the IL.
Garcia was on the IL. Collins was not playing well.
He did mention Isbell, who was on the IL.
Isbell was on the IL,
but don't mention
Salvi was really struggling. Massey was swinging the bat better, but it was only a little bit.
Started his
post All-Star. I mean, June 1 is when Kaggs. I think Jack Johnson's tweet was June 1. Kaggs is the 4th best hitter in the American League
since June 1.
Since June 1,
that's a sample size.
So Yordan Alvarez, he was ahead of Junior Caminero. Caminero was 5th. Kaggs was 4th, and then you had Yordan. Judge not in there because he's been injured. But let me just go ahead and find that that tweet. I went ahead and took a screenshot of it because I wanted to use it for later. Let's see. Here we go. How about these players? Number 1, Alvarez. Number 2, Alonso. Number 3, Wilson Contreras. Number 4, Jack Caglione. Number 5, Junior Caminero.
Not bad.
Those are the 5 best American League hitters since June 1st in weighted runs created. 186 for Yordan Alvarez because he's been a stud. 168 for Alonso. 165 for Contreras. Kaggs 150. Caminero 148. So, and that's since June 1st. Not like, hey, the last 2 weeks he's been awesome. Now, he's really been crazy hot since the All-Star break. He's OPSing at like 970 since the All-Star break because the Home Run Derby messed up his swing.
It did.
That was the concern, is that the Home Run Derby would mess up his swing to the tune of almost 1,000 OPS guy.
No, he just realized, man, I can hit a lot of these.
What if I went fly ball pull side? What if I pulled these hits? I've got so much power. What if I just hit it like, I don't know, like 415? Like, I guess I don't have to swing for 500 feet. If I just hit it 415, is that still a home run? So that fence is 390.
Most ballparks, yeah, most.
Okay, so that still counts. It's like Harrison Butker saying every time he lined up for a 40-yard field goal, he was trying to kick it 60. Just so high up the goalpost, and that'd have been good for. It's a 40-yarder, so make it a 40-yarder. Don't hit a 500-foot home run if you only need to hit it 340 down the line. So
I feel like the kickers have more control on that than the hitters do.
Typically,
I'm just going to give it a 410 swing, not a 500.
Did you see that guy in the Yankees minor leagues who's a slap hitter, like a softball slap hitter? It's just so fun to watch.
Like he's almost running before he hits it out of the box, that kind of deal, like a softball player.
The odd part is he's right-handed. So
seriously,
no, he's lefty. He doesn't keep his hands together too. There's like a little gap, almost like that Ty Cobb action with it. And
sign me up.
He's hitting like 340 or something like that. Yeah,
that's cool.
An extreme shift where the entire infield is on the left side.
The opposite. That's
yes.
Everybody on the left side.
The first baseman is at second.
Yes, he's got
the pitcher. The pitcher has to cover.
I don't feel like we've thought this one through here, guys.
The pitcher
has to cover on every single ground ball.
It's PFP every time.
When the ball's hit to his right. He's just breaking to his left every single
He's just running, looking over his shoulder, catching it over his shoulder as he's running to first base.
Who was the pitcher that always fell left and fell off the mound left? Was that?
Fernando Rodney always did too.
Yeah, but it was for the Royals. Am I thinking of Apier? Always like Apier perfectly that'd be great for him. Just falling, he's already heading over to first base.
Jose Valverde, I feel like did too.
Sure he did.
Salsa Verde was also.
Remember Jose Valverde?
No,
sure.
Yeah, dude, he had for the Detroit.
I trust you.
Yeah, one of my favorite closers of all time.
Well, that's good.
Congratulations.
So we should all know about him.
Yeah.
Well, he had a perfect season one year.
He really
perfect season.
He never gave up a hit. He never gave up a hit.
Jose Valverde.
Or a walk?
Don't remember this guy.
No, I remember.
288 career saves.
No, I remember. Jose
Congrats.
Valverde. Yeah, if you play fantasy baseball or you're a Tigers fan.
Was it 2011? He had 49 of 49. He was 5th in Cy Young that year. No,
He ain't exactly Gagne, though.
5th in Cy Young.
As a
Exactly
closer.
Gagne, though. You know what I mean? Just not
Gagne
sure.
was great, yeah.
What did he have? How many in a row? How many in a row? Was it 60-something for Gagne? Eric Gagne?
Closers are just lights out for like a year and a half or so, and then they pass the baton to somebody else.
84. Eric Gagne had 84 consecutive saves.
Yeah, that's pretty good, if you can find that guy.
Zach Britton had the second longest with 60.
Zach Britton had 60? God, I didn't.
By the way, Eric Gagne, I think, won Cy Young that year.
Yeah.
I love obscure references.
That's
He did win Cy Young. He won Cy Young
Nice.
with 55 saves.
Okay.
55 of 55 with a 1.2 ERA.
That's pretty good. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back, and we had some clips we played in the first hour from the city council meeting yesterday. And I also want to talk about the it's preseason, but just if it's preseason or not, the clock management still annoys the hell out of me in what these coaches are doing and just asleep at the wheel. And we saw it last night, and maybe it's preseason and they didn't care, but then don't tell a player to do exactly this thing, because how you practice is how you'll play. If you're going to do this in the preseason and not actually practice how you will then be using your clock management, we'll talk a little bit about that as well, along with some of those clips we played. And we'll hang out and continue hanging out with Mick Schaefer. Cuts before the show is over. More Zone next. last night. I'm watching the Texans and Raiders because
I'm annoyed that you watched that game last night. You have a family. Man.
Okay, so here's why. This is all honesty.
There's other stuff to do. It was a nice night. Could have taken a walk.
No, all honesty.
It was on in the bowling alley.
No, it's I have certain NFL guys that I have notifications turned on, especially during like free agency and stuff like that. And one of them that I follow, I think it might have been Rap Sheet. One of them I follow tweeted out and said, down 4. Let's see what Aiden O'Connell can do in this final drive. And I'm like, oh, okay. You had me at Aiden O'Connell, all right? So I tuned in just for the final drive. There was like a minute left. And so Aiden O'Connell leads him down the field. But here's where the clock management came in, and I'm just like watching dumbfounded here. So let me give you the scenario. Texans are up 20-16. The Raiders have the ball at the 34-yard line of the Texans with like 40 seconds left.
Sure.
No timeouts for the Raiders. 3 timeouts for the Texans.
Okay.
40 seconds left?
40 seconds left. Texans are up 4 with all 3 timeouts. Raiders, 40 seconds left at the 34, down 4, no timeouts. Aiden O'Connell drops back, throws a dart down the seam to the receiver.
As only he can.
Yes. Gets tackled at the 1-yard line, at the half-yard line with 31 seconds left. No timeouts. They're down 4. Houston Texans have all 3 of their timeouts. They're up 4. Raiders have the ball at the 1-yard line.
I would immediately call a timeout. See if trying it.
You would think the Texans would immediately call a timeout. Or if you're the Raiders, you would get up there, spike it. Now you'd have plenty of time to run a few plays. So what do? They run up to the line of scrimmage, and with 12 seconds left, they run a quarterback sneak. And he barely gets over the goal line at 5 seconds. If he doesn't get over the goal line, the game's over.
Yeah.
He got over the goal line, and now the Texans are down 2. They missed the extra point with 5 seconds left.
Yeah, the game's over.
And I'm going like, how do you not clock it? If you're really in a preseason,
both sides.
If you're really,
I understand the Texans more. It's like, okay, we're on defense. We're not going to prolong this game. I get that more. Let's throw these guys out here. Like, let's see what they can do.
I may understand that.
Fourth string. I understand that more than the
maybe he said, I didn't listen to the post game. Maybe he said, well, yeah, we would have used our timeouts in a regular.
Because a 2-minute drills, that's an offensive drill, right? You get down there, and that's something you don't do.
But do you give an opportunity for your quarterback at that point to get a real life?
The clock and run give a quick play in your pocket. But
like if the Texans called a timeout immediately at 31 seconds and they go, well, if they score a touchdown, hey, we get an opportunity with our 3rd or 4th string offense to run an actual maybe 2-minute drill with 2 timeouts or whatever. So maybe he said after the game, yeah, I wasn't going to call a timeout in the regular season. I would. But it was just, I'm watching him going, how are they not calling timeout? And I'm like, okay, so the Raiders are going to go up there and sweat. Quarterback sneak. Like, he got stopped initially. And then they had to push it. He barely got up. I'm like,
that's hilarious.
I was just watching it going, all right, I tuned in for the S's and G's of it. And then I left almost annoyed, like, what are we doing? Like, how are we possibly having, you got a rookie coach versus another coach on the other side who was in a playoff game against Kansas City in the divisional round and thought he was in a 50-45 shootout that he kept going for it on 4th down and kept going for it on 4th down. Didn't realize he was in a field position game more than anything, and he just kept going for it and going for it. So it wasn't a surprise in that he was sort of asleep at the wheel, just not calling a timeout. But it's the clock management stuff that just sort of just bothers me, and I watched it last night. And maybe it's because I'm watching it.
Maybe it's because the Raiders now have something the Chiefs haven't gotten 3 years, a preseason win.
That's exactly right. That's why I was annoyed.
Lost 7 in a row.
And that ends tomorrow.
They're due. I'm putting so much money on the Chiefs.
They're due, dude.
The Jalen Daniels show.
No, in preseason they are due. You're right. They are due.
I put
2023 was the last time that preseason win.
$5.
Put $5
I
on the Chiefs to win.
On the Chiefs to win.
Oh man, you'll get back like 11.50
something. Yeah, baby.
Oh my gosh,
it was plus 190.
Here's something that I didn't think I'd be doing this week.
Dumb not to.
What's the line for the Bucks are 5.5 point favorites? Vegas is like, yeah, you guys don't win. All right. But you can watch that on KSHB 41 to see if the Chiefs will either cover the spread or win their
Watch the whole time.
Yes.
Just in case Patrick Mahomes comes in like the fourth quarter.
Like he did against the Broncos in week 17 or week 18 in 2017.
Yeah.
When he came out of the game, they put in Tyler Bray.
He came back in.
Turned the ball over, and he had to come back in for them to win it, have the game winning drive.
I forgot about that. Tyler Bray, I thought
Tyler Bray 47.
Dude,
he had a gun, man.
He had an arm.
He was number 9mm, baby, you know what I'm saying? Bullets.
I remember watching him in college and being like, no, this guy's going to be a stud.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that. Yeah, big old dude, cannon arm. But
he was at UDFA, wasn't he, I think, too?
He wasn't drafted.
Probably that guy, yeah.
He wasn't drafted.
I was so flabbergasted that he did not get drafted. I was like, no, what are you guys doing? This guy is going to be him.
Yeah. And Brody Cordell
turns out learning plays and interviews and all that stuff counts too.
It turns out playing the game also matters.
I remember because I was on the you weren't here. I was on the program then, and for like a month when Tyler Bray was still the number 2 quarterback and Mahomes was the 3. Seren was losing his mind every shot. I tried to calm him down, like, it's not going to be like this forever. He didn't want it to be like this for a day.
It's interesting, the juxtaposition from like losing your mind because he should be the backup to the other side of he's a bust. Like it was an interesting sort of back and forth there. There's probably
he
somewhere
didn't throw an interception,
in the middle.
He fumbled. That's what it was.
I knew it was a
fumbled.
turnover.
Yeah. Because in his career, he has 1 of 6 with no touchdowns, no interceptions.
Was it that game? Was that Tyler Bray's only?
No, he
NFL
came
game?
in 2020 for
the Chiefs, not the Chiefs.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Like,
okay.
no
must have been Trubisky, and he was 1 of 5.
Did he come in for Trubisky?
In 2020, probably would have been, right?
I mean, I need that game log now.
That
I need to know.
I think it was still Trubisky then.
Yeah, but maybe Trubisky was injured, and then Bray was the 3rd stringer.
I don't.
Because was Bray the backup? Would he have been the backup in 2020?
I don't know, man.
You knew all your Detroit Tigers knowledge last segment.
Yeah.
What about the Chicago Bears?
Yeah. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that? Let's see. They lost.
It was
19 to
Trubisky
13.
that year.
Dang it. Yeah, but who? But did Trubisky start that game?
Oh God.
I don't know, and I don't care.
Nope, it wasn't Trubisky. There was no. I was going to say there's no way Tyler Bray was the backup.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nick Foles started that game and left. Tyler Bray came in for Nick Foles.
All the
Chiefs
quarterbacks
legend.
that connect to the Chiefs.
Yep, there you go. Yep, Kirk Cousins on the other side, pretty good game. Dalvin Cook, pretty good game. Justin Jefferson, 8 catches, 135 yards.
That'll be a fun game to play. Of
Pretty good game.
what's the immaculate grid?
Yeah.
Quarterback has played for 2 teams: Bears and Chiefs. Tyler Bray.
Oh, dude, that was the Cordell Patterson experience when he
Justin
was running
Fields
back
too.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, but people get that one. Not many people get Tyler Bray.
No one's gonna get that one. I don't think.
Bears and Chiefs. Oh my. Is Michael back there, or did he just leave as I was getting ready to play a clip? Okay.
Unless he's invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Have we thought that?
What?
That he is invisible?
Not sure.
Nope.
He is right now. Great.
Well, that's fine. We don't need the clip right now.
But yeah, watch it on.
He's coming back. He's sprinting back.
The pregame show starts at 5:30 on KSHB. Kickoff at 6:30. Post game for an hour. Come on, we're there 5 straight hours.
Yes.
And then you got SNL on after that.
There you go.
Don't turn away.
That. That's fun.
Love,
NBC
laugh,
Saturday.
Cry.
Do it all.
And be happy that you experienced it. That's a full day. Jimmy V said that. You laugh, you cry. It's a full. You love. It's a full day, man. Here is. Let's hear Brooks Sherman. It was not a full day yesterday, but it was a full meeting, and 11-2 was the vote for the city council to approve this agreement to move forward. Brooks Sherman was asked about the timeline, and do you think you'll start breaking ground early 2027?
We're underway on that, so we'll get to the specifics of timing as we move through that with our contractors, our owners reps. That could be the timeline. We would like to have opening day 2030. We're working hard to do that. These are big projects that take time, effort, and a lot of cooperation. So we're in the middle of that, feel very good about it, have great teams to help us here.
Brooks, based on your conversations with the state already, what's your confidence level and timeline for when you see contribution from the state?
We feel very good about the state. The state's been very cooperative. Obviously, Governor Kehoe did a lot to move the Stadium Act forward. He's a great supporter of this. We're going to work hard. Nothing's easy, but we're working hand in hand with them and feel awfully good about it. We'll be much further along in the next 30 days with them, and we'll see.
Do you think you can? Does it feel more real today than it did yesterday?
Sure. I mean, anytime you get the city council, they had to vote on this. This is a big decision for them to make, and they've been working hard on it, along with the mayor and the city manager. Mario has been hand in hand with them, making sure that they understood this project. So it is a big day. Anytime city council passes something like this is a great economic development project that the city's making a big investment in. We are hugely appreciative of that, and we're willing to make a great big investment right alongside them. And that's what we're doing, and we couldn't be more excited to do it.
So I talked about in the first hour, Mick, that they're talking about the great big investment that they're making alongside the city and the state, which, the first plan in 2024 that was voted down was a $2 billion project. The Royals were going to put in $1 billion, but the stadium was $1 billion. Royals were going to put in $1 billion in terms of the surrounding ballpark district. Now the stadium is $1.9 billion. They're going to put in $760 million. They don't get extra credit for putting in the extra $1 billion for the surrounding ballpark district in which they will own and then run like restaurants and stuff.
Make money off of.
We're investing. We're putting in a lot of money to go and own those restaurants and hotels and entertainment park and everything. We are like I gave the example. I said, I don't get to buy a house for pennies on the dollar and then go out and go, yeah, but I'm renovating the kitchen. You guys aren't even paying attention to the fact that I'm getting a brand new kitchen in there. So, yes, I'll take the extra profit when I sell it, but I am investing in the house too. I don't give them extra credit for that. If he wants to say what we are investing in is also going to be a big part or a footprint of the city that will continue to help revitalize and connect all that stuff.
Jobs, all that stuff.
Yes. Fine. Yes, absolutely. That is an aspect of it. But as it's related to specifically the vote to move forward with the stadium, that it's like, okay, yeah, they're investing more than what they would have been doing for specifically the stadium, but they are also investing a third in the community benefits agreement of what they were going to do in 24. And Jonathan Duncan, we can play this clip here. He was one of the 2 dissenting votes. So we hear from somebody that was, not in favor of this particular deal moving forward. Not that he wasn't in favor of keeping the Royals here, just how this was presented. And in 2024, the Royals community benefits agreement was going to be $140 million back to the city. This community benefits agreement is $55 million. So they're getting more from public financing, and they're giving a third, essentially, of the community benefits back. That, to me, is a real issue to where I would say, okay, so why? What are the details here on this? Here's Jonathan Duncan weighing in on his opinion on how he came to the no vote.
Well, the fact that we voted on an agreement with only $55 million in community benefits, we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar deal. 5% of non-baseball revenue is nothing. So again, the city is putting up 60% of the costs of the stadium, and we are receiving $55 million over 40 years in return. I wouldn't sign that if it was just me. Why are we expecting the residents of Kansas City to be on board of such a deal? I think the city requires better investment. I think we need investment in our general revenue now because we have needs. Our residents have needs right now. We have homeless problems right now. We have public security issues right now. Those require investment, and we're not seeing that investment reflected in that deal today.
Obviously, there were some folks down here who didn't want to see the deal go. What are you hearing from just your district?
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. My district, I talk to my residents often. They said, Councilman Duncan, if we can keep the Royals, that would be great, but don't give away the farm. Make sure that this is a good deal for residents and keeps our city whole. Make sure that this process is transparent. This process hasn't been transparent. It's been rushed since day one. We still don't have a financial agreement. We still don't have a financial analysis from the third-party financial analysis, and we still don't have the details of things that are currently being inked right now. We don't know what the final agreement between our school district and the Royals will be. We just gave away our leverage to ask for more.
So I think there are certainly people that are approaching this from the grifting standpoint and the obstructionist standpoint and the anytime it's a billionaire or a tax break, I'm going to fight against it, or this is an opportunity for me to yell the loudest and get my name out there. And so those people exist. But I do think there is an avenue of, yes, I want the Royals. Yes, I think that it can be the best thing for the city. And yes, I also have some questions about this particular deal. And I don't think the city is getting the best deal back, even what they might have been getting when it was the passing of the 3/8 cent tax that was just extending already what was already going on. I believe that's probably where Jonathan Duncan is of, yeah, I want to see the Royals stay here. I think this can be good for the city, but they aren't doing enough here, and we should have been more strong in demanding more back in the CBA, the Community Benefits Agreement, than maybe just going, please, Royals, stay here, don't go to Kansas, stay here, $55 million. Good, awesome, let's go, let's move forward. Awesome, we're good.
So is it a deal of like, okay, the Royals, when it came to a vote, okay, we're offering this, this, and this, and when it doesn't come to a vote, when we don't need that, okay, there's no incentive for us to come back that strong.
The bargaining power is on their side.
It is.
With this one. When the Chiefs went to Kansas, and then they were also going to try to attract the Royals, and you had Mayor Q and Governor Kehoe going, we're not going to lose two teams. All right, this team is going to stay here. The bargaining power is on the side of the Royals. And It also, like, the devil's in the details. We say that all the time. I would wonder, too, like, okay, so when it came to a vote, you're saying, hey, we're going to give $140 million back to the city. If it didn't go to a vote, you're going, oh, we're only giving you 55. You can't really go out and boast your chest about how much you care about the community and how much you're investing in the community when you're cutting it by 2/3 of how much you actually cared about the community.
No, it's a vote. It's a business decision right there. It's a business deal. And so for the Royals, like you said, without they have the bargaining power right there, and that's sounds like exactly what happened. It's interesting. I hadn't heard the community numbers yet on that,
which is the main thing Jonathan Duncan pointed out. He's like, hold on, 40 years, we're getting $55 million back.
Yeah.
I mean, now the 5% is not nothing, but to his point, if the Royals bring in $5 million in added revenue outside of baseball, the city gets $250,000 back from that. Could it have been 10%? I don't know. Could it have been 15%, 20? Who knows? But it was 5%, and those were some of his issues. I do think there's one more hurdle that has to be made because, and we'll take a break and play the cuts and have some fun, but Mayor Q brought this up yesterday, and it's a pretty strong statement. We don't have to play the clip because this isn't in this particular clip, but it's a pretty strong statement and tough to walk back if it doesn't result in your favor. Jonathan Duncan said they're still waiting on the third-party financial economic study and analysis, and Mayor Q said that is going to be presented. And he said, if for some reason the third-party financial review says this doesn't work, these things don't go forward. That's a pretty strong statement to make if the independent third-party financial analysis comes back and goes, yeah, we don't see the economic impact, or because how many of those come back in favor of public financing for a stadium?
I mean, what's the definition of it not working?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if it doesn't work, it's like, well, it works. We just don't see the value. All right, it works.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yes.
Well, yeah, the value isn't there for other cities, but I've made the example of an antique. Like you go to an antique roadshow and they're like, this is worth $1,000. Like, but no, this has been in my family for years. Yeah, we don't pay on sentimental value. The economic studies of the public financing do not traffic on sentimental value. And that's a part of it that won't come through is the fabric of the community, Royals and Chiefs. There's sentimental value that goes along with it. So, hey, it's not worth it. Okay, well, you don't think it's worth it? I think it's worth it. Well, yeah, but they could spend money over here and there. Okay, so maybe they're not spending money in the way that you think they should spend money, but doesn't necessarily mean that that money spent wasn't worth it. We'll take a time out. We'll come back. We're going to cut it up next.
With ice.
All right, let's go ahead and cut it up here before we are done handing it off to Soren Petro at 2. Michael, what do you say? Take it away.
One of the things that obviously we eat over here is testicles, Rocky Mountain oysters, all that stuff.
Obviously.
So pigs,
We
cows.
use
So-
we real loosely. I had an empty promise from someone out there that was going to bring in some testicles for Jake, that Jake was going to eat it. And then they failed me and didn't bring them in. Now, I'm not talking about bringing them in raw. I mean, like,
No,
you
cook
well
it.
prepared.
Sure.
With a good family recipe.
Balls and onions.
So I could get this guy to eat some balls on the air. Everyone's out there.
Good balls.
But it's got to be a good recipe.
Good balls.
Don't just give my guy any balls with the right seasoning.
Top of the line balls.
Right? You'll do it for the show. I'll try it.
Figure it out.
Deeves is in it. He doesn't. He's asking. He's begging.
at it.
Can I be part of this?
He's begging for the balls.
You can't get enough. Love it.
My balls was hot.
Have you guys had balls before?
I have.
I have not.
How were they?
I've had, yeah, they taste like chicken. They're fried up. They're fine.
That's good.
They're fine.
Yeah, not
Salty.
wrong.
Who's a bigger jerk,
Remember.
Caballero or Chisholm? The Yankees got together and did a competition. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say something that would not have been radio appropriate. If you have a contest with something, it's called the Bake Off.
That's what I was saying. That's what I thought.
Bigger jerk.
If it's between two jerks, you can fill in the blank.
Sure. Those dots are pretty close together.
He almost said it too.
Yeah.
Did they have it? And he stopped.
Just suffice to say that getting rear-ended at low speed twice by the same dude has been the highlight of training camp for me.
Everybody has
That was
different highlights.
wild.
Yeah.
Different
You
highlights.
practice,
Like,
and
what
then
are we
you get
doing?
treatment when
What
it's
are we-
treatment time.
What are we doing in here? What are we doing? Like, what do you need right now?
Yeah.
You're just finished practice. Like, what do you
Sherman-
need? Don't even know who they are.
In the training room
Couldn't tell you who they were.
this week.
This was 2 days ago.
Yeah,
when you
this
went
was
there?
2 days ago. Yep.
They're like, I don't know.
Training room.
I'm like, what are we doing in here right now? Like,
Yeah.
what do you need? You just got to hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable the best you can.
There's no it's like Sherm though.
Oh, man.
That would like do that for this team though.
I don't think
I
you
could
can
say that.
No, I don't think you can.
Yeah.
But
No,
there,
that one doesn't bother me as much.
there's no like Sherm.
Let's not do that one over and over.
You can't say that either.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You can't.
So,
I think one of my favorite parts is that Sherman, going up and visiting training camp and watching practice, walked into the training room to ask the guys, "Why are you in here? What are you doing? What do you need? Are you trying to make the team? Why are you here, dude?" They don't even know who he is.
You make a good point, and Jake has brought this up. I don't know how you feel about making a point similar to what Jake has made,
As
but
long as it's not Leabo.
well, you can say that again.
Thank you, Annie.
Every time somebody leaves a game with forearm tightness, what do you think?
I immediately
I hope he
go
doesn't
to
need
Tommy
Tommy
John.
John.
Yeah, flexor tendon.
Yeah.
I win bets off it.
Yeah, I lose bets off it.
And by the way, just to add a comedic note, he won 200.
We'll handle the comedy over here.
You should never handle comedy. He did all of this after having Tommy John surgery.
No, it's true. The most successful Tommy John surgery ever was the first one.
No, I know Curtis is trying to be comedic here, but I mean, it does beg the question: which is a bigger coincidence, Tommy John having Tommy John surgery, or Lou Gehrig getting Lou Gehrig's disease?
This is why we leave the comedy to Curtis.
Bite it. Kyle was laughing hysterically.
Hold on. Can Kyle chime in here? Were you actually laughing hysterically?
I wouldn't say hysterically, but it gave me a chuckle.
That feels like a pity chuckle.
He put the
Good one, boss.
Good one, boss. Good one, boss.
Give Pete one or two things to do today in Tampa. Give him one tip.
One tip
from this Jake. One tip from 2012 Jake.
Okay. There is a Salvador Dali museum over in St. Petersburg. It's amazing. It is super cool. I actually bought some prints there and spent several hours walking around that place. So Salvador Dali Museum in St. Petersburg is awesome. That's me. That's what I would suggest. Old Jake, I doubt that massage parlor is still there.
Oh my goodness.
I wish he was kidding.
Yeah.
The model they showed on the table and the one
It
picture
doesn't
didn't
have the glass so you can see in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. That makes sense. I was like, what?
Read more than the headline.
Okay.
Would it kill you to click?
Big down. He's hitting 340.
Yeah.
Tyler Tolbert. And I would plead with whoever is in charge of it, can we just get somebody else to throw the meaningless inning?
No, I love him. I enjoy it.
I don't.
I love it.
I don't. The man can throw a baseball. He's not going to get hurt if he throws 70.
You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth. First of all, I want him to pitch like 4 more times because he's going by like Bailey Falter. His number of appearances is growing, and I love it.
His ERA is 25.07, but his FIP is 16.82. So he's got some bad luck.
Bad luck.
Tolbert's unlucky this year. 26 ERA, that's tough, man.
Wow.
It's a tough one.
Just suffice to say that getting rear-ended at low speed twice by the same dude has been the highlight of training camp for me.
It happens, you know?
That is rough. That would not be my highlight. That'd probably be a low light. I'd have to imagine, yeah. I don't know if it gets much lower.
But I think that's indicative of what he's saying, how training camp went for him.
Yeah, it can't be that bad.
You would rather do the rear ending?
No. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go and put this one to a stop.
The low guy.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
What is happening?
Yep. Not sure.
We're going to keep
you know
beating
what?
it.
You know what happens? We're taking a break for the weekend. Thank you, Mick.
Bye-bye.
Program next.